Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Saturday, July 27th, 2013. This is episode 999. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by LegalZoom.com. Go to LegalZoom.com for affordable legal solutions you can trust. LegalZoom can provide self-help services at your specific direction or connect you with an attorney. They're not a law firm. They just give you a lot of help. Visit LegalZoom.com. Use the promo code TechGuy to receive 10% off at checkout. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. And it's time to talk about computers, the internet, smartphones, tablets, home theater, and all that jazz. Digital photography, too. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S., outside the U.S. Skype us. You'll forgive me if I'm a little distracted from time to time. I may look out the window. I may have Heather run to the door. You know how that is. Like Christmas when there's a new thing coming. Google had an event, and, they downplayed it. They sent an invitation. It was Breakfast with Sundar Pichai. And I did not get the invitation, but a small group of maybe 150 journalists did. And went to the Googleplex on, was it Thursday or Wednesday? Wednesday, I guess. Not knowing exactly what to expect. You know, with an Apple announcement, you kind of know there's a lot of leaks and so forth. There were some leaks on this Google thing, and so we knew one thing, but we were quite surprised by the other. We covered it by sitting and watching the live stream. And I do a podcast network, so we all sat, got together 9 in the morning on Wednesday, early for me, and watched. And Sundar Pichai is one of the L team, Larry Page's top executives at Google. Larry's a CEO, but he's taken a couple of people and put them and elevated them. And Sundar is in charge. He was in charge just of Chrome, the browser, and Chrome OS, which is their little operating system they put on inexpensive computers. And then he got promoted by Larry to Android and Chrome, which we thought, because Andy Rubin left for Android, we thought, that's interesting. What is it? How do those two, aren't they in competition? They're different operating systems. So we thought, what is he going to talk about? Well, the first thing was well telegraphed. That was the Nexus 7, the next generation. We kind of knew this was going to happen. It was a year ago that Google announced its $200 7-inch tablet. I mean, nobody could believe the price. It was, and I ordered one, and I've been using it since, and I like it a lot. It's really great. It was my first 7-inch, and it really sold me on the form factor. Obviously sold Apple, too, because shortly thereafter, they came out with a 7.9-inch iPad mini, which has also been selling very well. In fact, many folks, myself included, think that that's actually the sweet spot for an iPad. Once you start using a 7-inch iPad, the 10 inches feel kind of big and clunky. It's like, what is this big old thing? Isn't that funny how our expectations change? I even thought the iPad mini would be a great phone, but I'm a little weird. Like, just put a phone in it, and then I don't have to carry a tablet and a phone. But it's a little big, you know. Anyway, I liked the Nexus 7 a lot, but it was early days still for Android as a tablet operating system. Not a lot of apps, and, it was kind of clunky and funky. Well, times have really changed. And over the last year, thanks to the success, I think, not only of the Nexus 7, but also of the Kindle HD, which is effectively a 7-inch Android tablet. They don't say Android, but it is. There's been a lot of interest, and all the developers realize they see the writing on the wall. So people who make Android software are rapidly making tablet versions. But Android, unlike Apple, Android works quite well even with the smaller phone-targeted apps. They scale up and they look good. And apps like Path that are not specifically tablets apps work great. I'm very happy with it on the 7. So Google, I think, has really sent a shot across the bow for Apple because their new Nexus 7 was announced on Wednesday. $229, a little more expensive. That's for the base model, 16 gigabyte memory with Wi-Fi. And by the way Google does it, 16 gigabytes of memory leaves you something like 10, 14. It gives a lot of free space, say 14 gigs. It's plenty. They have a 32 gig model for $40 more, which is still a very good price. Remember the iPad Mini is what, $339? I have to look it up. I don't remember. So they're still considerably below Apple's price for something that's fairly comparable. But then they did something that Apple didn't do, refused to do. Apple makes Retina displays, you know. They call it Retina. That's Apple's marketing term for a display you can't see the dots on. It's high enough pixel density, dot density, that it looks super crisp. You can't see the dots. And, of course, the big iPad is Retina. So is the iPhone. They even have Retina laptops, the MacBook Retina. But they've never made a mini Retina. In fact, it was one of the things I didn't like about the iPad mini. I said, this is fine, but why is it 1024 by 768? Now, that's a low resolution for nowadays. And everybody told me, oh, Leo, they can't make a Retina mini. You'll be crazy. The battery life would be terrible. It'd be too slow. It would, too expensive. I didn't really buy it, but what was I going to say? Okay, Apple didn't say anything. They just didn't do it. Well, Google's kind of thrown down the gauntlet. This is Retina. Retina Plus. It's over 300. I think it's 323 dots per inch. It is high resolution. And the battery life still 10 hours. You know, if you're playing HD video, Google's claiming, and this is why I'm waiting for the truck, by the way, to get full circle, because I ordered one on Amazon, and it's supposed to arrive any minute now. So as soon as it comes here, I'll open it up for you, and we'll take a look. Because if it really is a great screen for $229, stereo sound, fast processor. They said the graphics processor, and this is 4 times faster than the last year's, Nexus 7. It's just half a pound. Now it's a little different than the Apple iPad Mini because it's 16 by 9, it's widescreen, and the Apple makes its stuff 4 by 3, so a little more square. But it feels the same in the hand, pretty close. 1080p. It has a 5-megapixel camera, just like the iPad Mini. $110 less. It's Android. So the real question is, can Android, as an operating system, and the Android app ecosystem compete with iOS and the Apple ecosystem? And in my opinion, it can. There are very few apps that I want. And this, of course, this is me, but that I want that I can't run on Android. In fact, there are more apps I can't run on iOS. For instance, I can't use Google. I mean, Google Now is available for iPad, but it's not as good as the Android version. Things like that. Now, and the DJ wrote to me and said, yeah, but the music apps on the iPad are great. And I agree. If you're a DJ, you should get an iPad for sure. So there may be apps that are specific to your thing that you want to get. But all other things being equal, I have to say, for the first time since the iPad came out in 2010, my recommendation for people who want a 7-inch iPad or 7-inch tablet is this Nexus 7. Now, I may amend that when I get here and it doesn't, maybe there's something wrong with it. I don't know. But based on the specs alone, very impressive. And then, so we knew a little bit about that. So that was, yeah, we've heard about that. But then they step up and they introduce something very interesting that I think potentially could change everything. For cord cutters, for television viewing, it's called the Chromecast. And it's a little mini, looks like a USB key with a bulge that plugs into the HDMI port of a high-def TV and uses Wi-Fi. And I don't know how to describe it. And I think if anything slows the sales of this down, it will be that. People will go, but what is it? What does it do? Basically, it turns your TV into a smart TV, but in a very interesting way. You use your phone or your tablet, and this includes iPhone and iPad, to tell the Chromecast what to play. Not to send it video, you can do that, but more importantly, to tell it what to play. So you launch the Netflix app on your phone or your tablet, and then say, hey, by the way, play that on my big screen TV. Now, when you do that with, for instance, an iPad, it does all the work. No, the Chromecast says, okay, got it. I'll take it from here. You could turn the tablet off and video continues to play. Currently, YouTube and Netflix, Google Play, but more to come. Anyway, we'll talk more about that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. You know what I should probably do? Let's thank our very fine sponsor for the show, LegalZoom.com. You guys going to take off? Clint, you're a ham. Did you see my ham? You're both hams? Did you see my nice setup over here? No antenna, but a great ham shack. It's purdy. No, we've put antennas up. It's so noisy is the problem. So, I mean, I can do FM, and I have a handy talkie and stuff. But anything with a repeater is fine. But I can't do any DXing, no high frequency stuff. There's like 20 dB of noise. It's huge. And we put, even if you put it, the problem is not just this building. Of course, we're radiating. But the problem is also Petaluma itself. There's probably, there's old neon, there's transformers, I don't know what. But I had Gordon West drive around with his directional antenna. We had all sorts of people come out here. And he says, there's nowhere. You can't, it's noisy here. D-Star works. Echolink works. All that stuff works. Hey, our show, anyway, I was saying, our show today brought to you by LegalZoom.com. When it came time for me to start a business, I asked my buddy Kevin Rose, who has started many, many businesses, and I said, what's the best advice you give me? He said, make an LLC, start an LLC. I said, really? He said, yeah, and it's not expensive. It's easy. You can do it yourself. I said, I don't want a lawyer. He said, you don't need a lawyer. You need LegalZoom.com. So you go there, and you can make an LLC for $99 plus filing fees. What? You can incorporate, too. This is a different kind of corporation, Chapter S or C. You can do trademarks. You can do last wills and testaments. I love LegalZoom. And back in 2005, when I started Twit, that's how I made an LLC. And let me tell you something. That's still the LLC we're under right now. Even though I now do have to spend thousands of dollars a month on attorneys. As you get bigger, there are other issues LegalZoom can't handle. Really, LegalZoom is for preparing and filing the documents that you can do yourself. Step-by-step questionnaires. It's easy. Now, sometimes you say, boy, I'd love to get some legal advice. For instance, when I did it, I had to decide what state. And I decided on Delaware after reading up, but I would have loved to have asked an attorney pros and cons. And now you can. They have a LegalZoom legal plan, pre-negotiated flat rate fees, attorneys in almost every state. They're profiled and unedited end user reviews, so you can see, who's the attorney that's right for you. So it's even better now. I'll tell you, if you don't have a will, the courts will decide what happens to your estate, what happens to your kids. You don't want that. Last wills are discounted now through the end of August by 15%. And you say, I don't have time. 20 minutes is the typical time to do a will. 20 minutes. It's state-specific. It's personalized on your information. LegalZoom's been doing this for 12 years. 12 years. Now's the time to take advantage of it. It's National Make-A-Will Month. Did you know that? This is it. Don't put it off. I pulled it off for a long time. LegalZoom.com. Get 15% off your last will. The offer does end soon. Or get a living trust, and you receive a pour-over will absolutely free. And make sure you enter our offer code, TechGuy, and you're going to get $10 off. An additional $10 off on checkout. LegalZoom.com. It's not a law firm. You don't need a law firm. You just need a questionnaire, step-by-step, prepare and file these documents. It's just great. It's so easy. 20 minutes to make a will. What are you putting in? Do it now. LegalZoom.com. Use our offer code TechGuy. We'll give you $10 off. $10 off. Whoa. I didn't mention the most important thing. None of that would be important if for the fact that it's $35. So when I come back, I'll have to explain why that's important.
So FedEx came. He said he had 2 packages, but he couldn't find one of them. So
You're lying to me.
They'll be back later, he said.
No. Is that really true?
That's true.
Did we get one of the 2?
We got 1 of 2, but it's for Pixel. It's a big box.
I'm going to kill them. Yeah, but it never comes now.
Well, it probably just didn't make it onto the truck is the thing, so they'll load it on later.
But he will come back?
That's what he said.
What time? After I leave, after the show's over.
I told him the doors open until 2 o'clock. So.
I can't believe that. They're messing with me now. So Alex just came in. He said, the FedEx guy came. I said, what? He said he had 2 packages. I said, what? He said he couldn't find one of them. And the other one wasn't for me. They're just messing with me now. They're just messing with me. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Yeah, you know what's interesting? That fixed, is it trim made that make sense? Because my Nexus 7, my old one, was getting slower and slugger and sluggisher. And, oh, that's good. I'll have to put lag fix on there and run it. That's great. And then I put 4.3 on it. It seems to have fixed it. So they put trim support in the OS. Brilliant. Brilliant. Now, you guys just relax. I've got, not only do I have an open cup of coffee, I have a large open cup of water, and I have a full pitcher of water right here, so I could just totally destroy the equipment. But guess what? I own it. Many, many years, radio station engineers have prevented me from enjoying a fine cup of joe in the control room. Yeah, and then, as if that weren't enough, this came. 4 of these came. These are the Leaps. The Leap Motion. Although, I'm baffled on this one because I can't get it to work. And Jeff Needles brought it home, and he said, oh, it works great. It's awesome. I love it. I said, but Jeff, I can't. It won't work on my Mac. Oh, no, it's great. I've gone through 3 of them, and I can't get them to. Is it me? Maybe my hands don't get picked up by the infrared. Yeah, I'll be doing something real cool for the 1000th episode. I'll be sitting on a ball the whole time. Woo! We were going to do something cool, and it got cloudy, and I got bored, and I forgot, frankly. The dog ate my homework. Yeah, I personally think the Leap Motion is not exactly a killer product. $80. The cuffs were confusing it? Well, I'm sorry if my cuffs confuse it. 40 days, 5 hours, 42 minutes until the NFL kicks off. I know. I know. You know how I know? Because a certain young lady came to my house and threw this in my face. I said, what's that, Lisa? She said, read it and weep. That's our 2013 season tickets to Candlestick Park farewell season.
That's a big envelope.
Oh, it's not an envelope. It's a box. You know what? The Niners do it right. Let me see if I have... She took the pictures of the inside. Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, by the way, we have a sign now. She took the pictures of the inside, unfortunately.
Time Warner. Or Time Warner.
Huh? TW, yeah. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So I ran out of time before I could tell you the thing that makes this Google Chromecast so exciting. The thing that's the most interesting. So it's kind of like a Roku, a little bit like an Apple TV, but different. And it's hard to describe the difference, which is a problem because people are going to go, I don't understand. But this is the important thing. It's $35. It's a third the cost of the other two. $35. And they've discontinued this. But when you first bought it, believe it or not, it took 24 hours and they said, no, we're not going to do that anymore. When you first bought it, you got 3 months of Netflix added on. That's $24. So this cost me $11. Even if you were, yeah. I bought 5 of them. I don't have to pay for Netflix for another year and a half. So at $11, that's pretty compelling. Now, they sold so many that the Chromecast, and this is good news too, because this becomes more valuable if developers start modifying applications to support it. And it's very easy to do. Google has published what they call the SDK, the Software Development Toolkit, and the API, and Application Programmers Interface for it. So it's wide open. Any application on your smartphone and your tablet, on your computer, any Chrome extension can be configured so that there'll be a little button that says play this on the Chromecast. So right now it's YouTube. The YouTube app on iOS doesn't have it yet, but it will soon. The YouTube app on Android, there's a little button. Now, you don't have to check to see if it shows up only when there's a Chromecast on the Wi-Fi, probably. But when it does, then you go to YouTube on your smartphone or tablet or computer. You're looking at it and you say, "Oh, I want to watch that on my TV." You press the button, and what happens is very different from what you would expect. It doesn't send the video to the Chromecast. It sends just the link to the Chromecast. And the Chromecast, which has a full operating system, it's Chrome OS, starts playing it directly. And so you can turn off the phone or you can do something else with the phone. But what is established between is this making sense at all?
It is. I
understand it's complicated.
Like, oh my God, something really new and exciting.
And remember, we live in a world where people never stopped their VCR from blinking 12. So this may be, I don't know if this is going to be too complicated, but the idea is, okay, you press the button on YouTube, the Chromecast starts playing it, and the Chromecast establishes a connection with whatever device so that you can pause, rewind, turn the volume up or down on your phone or tablet or computer. But it's not doing the playback, and that's important because the quality is going to be better because the Chromecast is playing it directly into the TV. So that's true right now of YouTube, Netflix, and the Google Play Store because they rent and sell TVs and shows and movies. But that list is going to get much longer very quickly. We're going to do it for our Twit app, I'm sure. I'm sure Houdini 7, Craig Mullaney, is working hard right now on Shift Key software. It doesn't look like a lot of code. It looks like a fairly simple thing to do. But the point is $35 basically makes any TV with an HDMI plug a smart TV. Now, you do have to have power, so there's a USB cord on the other side, and you can plug that in. And that might be a disadvantage for some people. You have to have a plug near your TV. I guess everybody has a plug near their TV. Anyway, I think that's very interesting. So that's the Chromecast. I just got bad news. The FedEx guy came.
What?
And he says, I have 2 packages, but I can't find one.
Huh?
And the other one wasn't for me. So he's lost my Nexus 7. I'm really bummed. I wanted to open it on the show. Well, maybe I will have a chance. Maybe I'll have a chance. But I am intrigued. So Heather, does that kind of make sense? Because I feel like the thing that's going to be the gating factor, as we geeks say, the thing that's going to slow adoption of this Chromecast down is that it's, what? I don't understand. What does it do? Like if I give it to my mom, I don't know if she would say, oh, yeah, well, I plug that in the HDMI port, and then I open up my iPad and I can play stuff. I don't know if she'd get that, or maybe she would. I don't know. But see, $35 means that it's inexpensive enough that people could say, well, I hear it's really cool. I'm not sure I understand it, or I kind of get the idea, but let me try it. If it's $100, it's too much. That's not an impulse price point. $35 almost is. That's pretty aggressive from Google. By the way, remember, the point for Google on both, the reason Google can sell this stuff so cheaply and the reason it's a challenge for Apple has to make a profit on hardware. That's their business. What is Google's business? It's not hardware. Google's business is advertising. And Google has said many times, the folks at Google said, hey, we don't really care how you use the internet. We just want you to use the internet because the more you use the internet, the more we're going to make money. So from Google's point of view, and this is true of Amazon as well, by the way, they don't have to make money on their tablets. They don't have to make money on things like the Chromecast. They can sell these at cost because they're going to make money on you if you use it to watch TV. Because then they're going to know what your TV watching habits are, and that makes it more valuable. You're easier to sell advertising on. And I think you should know that. And I think people are somewhat aware of that. When you use stuff like this, you're sending signals to Google about what your interests are. And if that bothers you, you shouldn't use it. But that's why it's so cheap. Google is, I'm sure, not making money on this. This is, I'm sure, a cost item. Maybe they're even losing money on it. I'm sure that's why they discontinued the Netflix thing. They sold so many of them so fast. I'm sure they had a deal with Netflix. Okay, we'll do, you know, 1 million new subscribers for you, but we can't, you know, and Netflix said, yeah, but you got to cap it at some point because we don't want to have to give away our service to everybody. And I think that's probably what happened. They're sold out on Amazon. They're sold out on the Google store. You might be able to go to Best Buy and other brick-and-mortar stores and find a Chromecast. But for most people, the delay now is at least several weeks into August before you'll be able to get a Chromecast. I'll let you know. I was hoping to have this before the show so I could talk about it. I've played with it a little bit yesterday. One of our staffers has one. and it seems impressive. But there are lots of questions I'd like to ask about it. So, big move by Google into the TV space. They had a Google TV which didn't do very well. Incidentally, they say they're not killing that. They're going to continue to make the Google TV. That's a different kind of a product, they say. I think they're going to sell, literally, maybe 1 million of these. Now, the important point is that the Apple TV has only sold 13 million. Roku's only sold about 5 million. Those are the two most popular ways to make your TV a smart TV, but they're both more expensive. But it's still not a giant universe. Probably no more than 20 million people have bought some sort of device to attach to their TV. Anyway, we'll talk more about that, certainly, and I want to take your calls. But I thought this was to me, this is a very important and unexpected announcement. By the way, next week we have another big announcement from Google. The hits just keep on coming, and they're doing all this notice right before Apple's traditional product announcements. Apple traditionally as of last year, announces new stuff, new phones in September, new tablets in October. And so I'm sure we'll see a new iPhone in the next month or two, and I'm sure we'll see a new iPad in the next month or two. But they've been scooped a little bit. And so the big announcement August 1st is the first Motorola phone to come out under Google's ownership. There were a couple of droids, 3 droids announced this week, but those were kind of they were clearing out the pipeline, the last of the Motorola pre-Google acquisition phones. The next one, the Moto X, is going to be a Google phone and very interesting. Something to watch for. That's next week. All right, phones are next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. No, Scott Wilkinson's next. We'll talk to people, honest, one of these days. There's Scotty. The rumor is that Google is doing a relationship with Warby to make the Google Glass. I don't think Glass is a product for quite some time. My NDA is not over till August 1st.
Leo, do you want to take some calls first and put me on?
No. You're as good as a call. Better.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Web7267 says his Nexus 7 was lost by FedEx too. I see a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm. It must be.
Oh, that's a story. Avila Fane just posted a link. A guy who, it sounds like, got the fake, the virus that says you've been watching child porn, send us $300 via 7-Eleven. Just got arrested. He got the pop-up warning. So he went to his local police station. He said, this is why you listen to this show. I got to mention this. He was sufficiently stunned to receive the FBI warning telling him to pay a fine for child porn that he went to his local police station. He said, "Am I indeed wanted on child pornography charges?" He gave the police his computer. Allegedly, they actually found child porn.
What?
And arrested him. He's in jail.
Of a stupid criminal.
Facing 3 child pornography charges related to alleged inappropriate messages and images found on his computer. Oh my goodness.
Man. Oh, man.
I don't know what to think. The exercise section on the new Fitbit app has a calorie count for knitting. You know why? Because when you knit, Dr. Mom, doesn't it, think you're walking? Okay, here's what really happened to my Nexus 7.
Every parent
we
wants
gotta
the
wait a little
safest
bit. We got a little bit of an ad here. Here we go.
for the honest company, so we can all focus.
Skip the ad. Thank you. It's a FedEx truck. Oh, not the Nexus 7.
Oh, yeah.
No,
just toss
don't
it in
throw
there.
that. No, God, no. Okay, just the next one, just put in gently, okay? Just gently, just kind of ease it. Oh, God! No!
Oh, my.
Is this a setup?
Yeah, did somebody conspire with these FedEx
Yeah, this
guys?
can't be real. There's no way they do that. She's smiling.
And then she gives a thumbs up.
Yeah. That's a joke.
Yeah, that's the way you do it. Just toss them in
It's
there.
a setup. So what is FedEx's response to that? FedEx fired her. Whoops. It looks like empty boxes. It's too bad this is a radio show because it would be really funny to say, I have a video of the Nexus. Oh, it's exciting. The FedEx truck's out front. Let's see what's happening with my...
Oh, no.
There's the FedEx truck. It's out front. Oh, that's probably my Nexus 7, right? Oh! Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Scotty Wilkinson is here. He is the home theater guy.
Hello.
And our expert on home theater from the AVS Forum and, of course, our own podcast, the Home Theater Geeks podcast, every Monday. So this is home theater, isn't it? This Chromecast. What do you think?
This is huge news. I think this is very big news. We posted a story on it on AVS as soon as it came out. My primary writer, Mark Henninger, ordered one within minutes of the announcement.
Oh, yeah.
He should be
Me
getting
too.
it any day.
Yeah. Well, you know what the secret was for me for both the Nexus 7 and the Chromecast, and a number of people went to stores where they pulled it out of the back, selling it early. But I went to Amazon, and Amazon had, 1-day shipping, day of.
Yeah.
I think an error again. But doesn't matter. So
Doesn't matter.
we got ours.
But it sold out in a hustle and a hurry.
It sure did.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I
Now,
think
we
you're
don't
right.
know. They could have made 5. We don't know what sellout means. I bought 5.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm guessing they probably sold several 100,000 in the first day or two.
Oh, I wouldn't be at all surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, the key, as you pointed out, is it's $35.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's almost an impulse purchase.
It almost is.
Yeah.
Plus the fact then that you can basically stream anything from just about any device, computer, iOS, or Android, to this thing through the Chrome browser.
Right.
So I think it might answer the question or the hope that I had for Google TV, which was really consolidating everything, getting everything online, coming from one place onto your TV with no restriction. Now, I think there are still some restrictions that haven't been worked out yet.
The way by the way, they say streaming, so it's kind of hard to understand because it's a little confusing, but if you have content on a computer or a tablet or a phone and you want to send it to your TV, we'll call that streaming from your device. Right. That is really not the main purpose of the Chromecast. It can do that.
Yeah.
It has to be from Chrome, and it can take any arbitrary tab on Chrome, including just a web page, and put it on your TV, but it has to compress it. It's 720p at best. It's going to be slow because it's compressing it. No.
I thought it was 1080. It's
okay,
not?
that's right, and that's the issue. So that's streaming, and they even say this is in beta. But what happens if you're watching Netflix, and this is actually kind of smart. We always thought with Apple TV, it would be so cool if they put apps on it, just like an iOS device, and you could get an app, any app you want. But no, right. Apple is the gatekeeper. They're very careful. They only slowly allow things, every 6 months they'll put a couple more things on there. They just got HBO Go, for instance. But this is a little different. You don't put apps on the Chromecast, but any app on your tablet or any Chrome extension can have a Chromecast button. But so Netflix does. Let's use this as the example because they made some partnerships before they released the Chromecast. YouTube and Netflix, right? And Google Play. So two Google products and Netflix, which is a third party. We'll use Netflix. What Netflix did is they modified their app to put a button. So you go to Netflix, you pick a program you want to watch, you start playing it, then you press the Chromecast button. Now, streaming would be, and this is what Apple does with AirPlay. Oh, now it's going to play on your TV from the device. No. What this does is send a command to the Chromecast saying, hey, we're going to watch this Netflix item, number 337442. Start playing it. The Chromecast now takes over and is playing it. Yeah, so it's not streaming. And that's 1080p.
Well, it's streaming to the Chromecast device, not to the
Don't confuse
other device. Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Google uses the phrase streaming to indicate from a device in the house to the Chromecast. But you're exactly right. It's streaming over the internet into the Chromecast.
Internet. Correct. And then you can turn off your device.
You can turn off the device.
And it keeps going.
Although the device sets up a connection with Chromecast so that you have play, stop, rewind, and volume control.
It becomes your remote control. Yeah.
And a couple of very smart things about that. One, that now can be 1080p. That is 1080p.
Okay, that's what I understood.
Yeah. If you're playing from a device, streaming from a device, it's 720p. But the other thing, the other thing that's kind of interesting is it's good advertising for the Chromecast because apps are going to start coming out with Chromecast buttons.
Right.
And there's suddenly you go, oh, this app has a Chromecast button. Oh, maybe I should get a Chromecast. So it's advertising for Chromecast every time. Now, I don't know, and we'll find out if the Chromecast button shows up only if there's a Chromecast device. It is confusing. If Pro Editor says in the chat room, this is too confusing, people won't get it. And I agree, the way I've just described it
is pretty confusing.
In the world of blinking 12s is not going to make it. But I think the way that you sell it is you say, look, you connect this to your TV, and your TV now has internet access. And you just leave it at that.
Right.
You have to have Wi-Fi. And to use this, you have to have an iOS or Android device or a computer with a Chrome browser. It won't work without.
Correct. And as you said earlier, it needs to be powered. But you don't need...
That's a bummer.
Well, but you don't need an AC power adapter to plug it in. All you need is a USB port.
Many new TVs have USB ports.
Virtually all new TVs do. So
now mine, the Panasonic Viera, the port is only powered up when the TV's on. So that might be a disadvantage. I don't know if there's a boot up time on the Chromecast. It might be that I turn on the TV and the Chromecast has to boot up.
Well, how long could that take?
I don't know.
Not long.
Takes the Roku a while. Remember how long it takes a Roku to boot up?
Yeah, okay.
But we'll see.
And the Chromecast is, in fact, running a version of the Chrome browser.
Yeah, it's Chrome OS in here.
Chrome OS, rather. Yeah, right. Exactly. I think it's going to be very popular, A, because of the price, and we've already seen it sold out. And as you say, who knows how many they made, but I bet you they made a lot. It's getting national coverage right here on this radio show, amongst others, I've heard.
Oh, it's huge.
It's huge.
It's a huge story.
Huge announcement. It's a huge story.
And as I pointed out, it's not like, we know that only half of the people who have smart TVs ever connect them to the internet. We know that Apple TV, which is the biggest internet connection device for TVs, only sold 13 million. We know that Roku's only sold 5 million. So it's not a huge market.
That doesn't count, though, all the Blu-ray players that have streaming on them, that have smart capabilities.
Yeah, I don't know that stat about smart TVs. I don't know if that included things like the Blu-ray player. But, yeah, my suspicion is for a lot of people, not the people who listen to this show because you guys are smart.
Indeed.
For a lot of people, it's like, what? Just put the cable box on. I want to watch, The Biggest Loser and leave it at that.
Certainly there is a segment of the population for which that is true.
Probably more than half.
Could be.
But that's changing.
It is. It is. More and more people are becoming aware of streaming and cutting the cord. I don't have the statistics right in front of me, but I bet you that number is growing. And it will only grow more in the future. So I think this is kind of a big deal. I can't wait to get one myself and try it out.
All of this is part of the transition we've been making and you've been covering.
Yes.
From traditional, it started with just broadcast TV over an antenna, then the cable companies came.
Right.
And now we're doing something called cord cutting. Instead of an antenna or cable, we're getting our television, our content from the internet. And speaking as an internet broadcaster, as well as a radio broadcaster, but you know, a lot of our show is consumed on iHeartRadio over the internet. And certainly the podcast, a great portion of the audience listens on a podcast of this show.
The vast majority.
The vast majority listen live. Still, thank goodness. Oh, yeah.
Is that really true?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
10 to 1. Right. However, please don't get me in trouble with the radio stations.
Oh, sorry.
Scott Wilkinson, ABSForum.com, Home Theater Geeks, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We will go to the phones right after this. No, it's probably...
My show, it's the other way around.
Well, yeah, but your show doesn't on the radio, dude.
Oh, I didn't mean the radio show. I meant all the other podcasts.
Oh, no. So the Tech Guy podcast is 50,000 downloads per episode. The radio audience is at least 10 times that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I didn't mean the radio.
So we don't have radio cord cutting has not really taken off yet.
No.
Although you know the TuneIn Radio will have a Chromecast button as soon as they can possibly program it.
Right. You mean
because
like
as Google, well, TuneIn Radio is the #1 radio app, then iHeartRadio too. But what Google pointed out, and I think this is really true, is most of us have our best stereo equipment hooked up to the TV.
Yep.
Is this my Kindle? Is it here? No, it's lunch. All right, I'll let you take over.
Thank you. By the way, I forgot to, I didn't get a chance to say on the air, congratulations tomorrow on your 1,000th episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a very big deal.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm not jumping up and down.
Tell me, why
we started counting when I went on KFI in 2004.
Right.
But I've been doing this show since 1991.
On different stations?
On different stations. So... It's 1,000 since 2004. What is that? 9 years. And then it's another 11 years before that. So it's probably more than that.
Probably closer to 2,000.
Who knows? Anyway, all yours, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You bet. My pleasure. So, hey, chat room. So glad to see you all there. In fact, I got a question I was going to talk about on the show, but of course Chromecast superseded it. But it's related, which is a guy wants to get a TV, and should he get a smart TV, or should he get one that's not smart and get a Roku or an Apple TV or a Chromecast? My general feeling about that is it's better. Well, for one thing, it's probably not easy to get a non-smart TV these days. Most of them are, unless you buy a really cheap one, in which case you're probably not getting the best picture quality. So if you're concerned about picture quality, you're probably going to not get the cheapest TV possible, which means it probably will have smart capabilities. But that doesn't really matter because, you know, it'll have whatever capabilities it has. I would also recommend getting a Roku or an Apple or a Chromecast, perhaps, after we take a look at it and see, because that will give you a different set of apps and access to different online sources of content, which is why I generally don't recommend, if you buy, say, a Panasonic TV, I wouldn't necessarily get a Panasonic Blu-ray player, say, because that will give you the same selection of apps. Get a Samsung Blu-ray player or a Sony Blu-ray player, which will give you a different selection of apps, maybe even a different user interface, because all these apps from all these different companies sometimes, in fact, present a different user interface, and it's often one is better than the other. I've certainly found that. The Panasonic interface for Netflix, for example, I don't like very much. But the one from Samsung or Boxy, I do. So there's an example of why you might want to get a different Blu-ray player than a different brand of Blu-ray player or streamer than you have on your TV. The other thing about this Chromecast is that it has the potential to really, as I said on the air, to bring together just about every source of online streaming content, which it could be very good because there are certain devices that give you access to some things and not others. And then so each device is limited in some way, and this Chromecast may very well not be. Download Bob says, the only thing I don't like about smart TVs is the long wait during turn on, the boot up time. Well, yeah, that's true. Pardon me I'm still coughing a little bit. That's true. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Leo pointed out that it takes the Roku a while to boot up, and that's true. It's a computer. And the smart TVs are computers. So that is a problem. We'll see how long it takes the Chromecast to boot up. I suspect it won't take as long because it's a pretty dedicated device. It's only doing one thing, running Chrome OS. But, we'll see. How fast is this processor in this little thumb drive-sized thing? Sounds like here we go.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It really is. We have entered a new era, I think, in content consumption. Let's just say content consumption, right? It's not just TV. It's not just radio. It's not just books. It's not just movies. It's not. It's everything. And I think tablets, in many ways, are just amazing little portable, personal content-consuming devices. And boy, I think this Nexus 7 at $229 is very compelling. And add the Chromecast to your TV, and you gotta figure that the people in the cable industry are a little nervous. Remember, though, for most of us, our internet access comes through the cable companies. So, what they've always said to me and for years is, well, we don't want to be in the bits by wholesale business. We like to sell you the premium retail quality product. Why they want to be the gatekeeper. You're seeing it right now, aren't you, with Time Warner and CBS? This is so bad for both parties. CBS Television is mad at Time Warner Cable, saying, oh, they want too much money. And Time Warner is saying, I don't know what they're saying. Both sides are fighting. And what's happened as a result, or what will happen, is that, and this has happened before, remember with the Comedy Central and so forth, is that it's very possible that come Monday, Time Warner subscribers won't have their local CBS channel. It'll be gone. And Time Warner says, we're protecting our customers. We don't want them to have to overpay for CBS. CBS is saying, well, you got to pay us for our content. What's great, as far as I'm concerned, I celebrate this. Let's get both of these companies out of showbiz. Let's convince the cable companies that there's enough revenue being good quality internet service providers. They're not very good right now, but let's get them to be good and say, this is a good business for you. You should be happy. And then let the people who create content sell their content directly to us. Eliminate the middleman. That'll reduce prices. It'll mean there'll be a direct drive between the content and its audience, which means stuff for, well, I'll give you a good, I know all this because this is what I do. When I'm not on the radio, I have a little podcast network. I don't even want to call it a podcast network because it's not downloads. We do live. It's like an internet television station, 24/7. It's at twit.tv if you want to find out about it. And I am trying to bypass cable, bypass television, and bring niche programming. It's admittedly niche. It's the kind of stuff you hear on this show. It's for geeks. It's in tech enthusiasts. And it's even more geeky than the stuff on this show. I'm trying to bring that stuff for free to our audience directly. Tried it once before with a cable channel called Tech TV. You might remember this. Lost $300 million in 6 years. That's a lot of money. And it was for one reason. It wasn't the cost of production. It wasn't the size of the audience. It was that cable channels demanded so much money. It was so expensive to get on cable that it cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and in the end, we couldn't make enough money. And I watched that, and I said, well, it's interesting. If I could eliminate this cable part of it and go directly to our audience, I wouldn't have to have a giant audience. I would just have the same size audience would make me a pretty good living, and it's worked very well. But simply by one thing, everything else is the same, but we eliminated the cable company. So I've seen this happen, and when I look at stuff like Chromecast, that essentially eliminates the cable company and says, you should be able to get what you want over the internet. Now, you might say, well, wait a minute, though. So, companies like HBO and Comedy Central don't seem to like this too much. Well, that's because they're kind of hostages to the cable companies. What would happen to HBO right now if they said, yeah, we want to sell Game of Thrones directly to the audience when it first airs? The cable companies could pull the plug on them. And right now, this is why it's so difficult across the board on the internet. The internet is a disruptive force, but you see so many companies fall to the internet. Newspapers are falling to the internet. Travel companies falling to the internet because of one simple thing. They cannot cannibalize their existing business to move into the internet. And it's a very hard transition to make. Look at Kodak. Kodak knew that digital was coming. They stopped making film cameras, started making digital cameras. They bought Photo so that they'd have an online presence. They did everything right, and they still went bankrupt because they made so much money in processing and printing pictures. It was so profitable, margins were so great that they built a company around that business. And when they got into the low margin business of digital photography, they couldn't sustain the company. And that's what's causing concern for the cable companies. They've built their business on a high margin business, selling you HBO, selling you channels you don't want because you had to buy the bundle in order to get ESPN or CNN. You can't just buy CNN or you have to buy the whole bundle, right? That's their business. And consumers are fed up. And they're realizing they're going to have problems because they have not built a business around the low margin of selling people wholesale bits. They built a business around high margin premium content. Well, this is what happens. The internet and technology are disruptive, and that's what we cover on the show, the disruption. 8888 ask Leo. Jay, you've been very, very patient. Thank you for holding on. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo, I'm actually looking for an external hard drive to go with a Mac. I forgot to mention the Mac part to Heather.
It doesn't matter. All hard drives will work with a Mac.
Oh, okay. And I'm wondering, in comparing the desktop to the portable style external hard drives, I've been pretty much strictly a desktop guy. I'm wondering if there's any advantage one way or the other in terms of one outlasting the other.
No, it's effectively the same. The difference between the portable and the desktop drives is the desktop drives you have to plug in. The portable drives pull their power from the USB port. And that's nice because you can take it on the road and you don't have to extra plugs and stuff. That means it's going to be a smaller drive. It's a different kind of style of drive. And you notice probably the desktop drives are bigger. And those are the larger 3.5-inch drives. So but I've never heard of any difference in reliability or performance, frankly.
Okay.
USB 3, if you've got it, that'll make a difference. I guess, here's where the performance would be a difference, and it's not going to always be the case. But in order to be a bus-powered drive, that is a drive that doesn't have to plug into the wall but uses the USB port, you can't be a high-speed, 7,200 RPM. You're going to be a 5,400 RPM drive. So it might be a little slower in that case. So it's because it has the lower power consumption. Is this for a desktop?
Yes.
You're never going to leave the house?
Right.
Yeah. Get the plug-in external drive.
Okay.
The bigger capacities, lower price, faster drives.
Excellent.
Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks for holding on, too. All of the rest of you, don't worry. I'm going to do nothing but phone calls next hour. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy, and it's time to talk computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3 players, home theater, tablets, yes, tablets, and cord-cutting devices. I have a feeling that's going to be a new category. For the categories change as the show ages. When I first started doing this show in 1991, we didn't talk about the internet, let alone cord-cutting devices, tablets, or PDAs even. GPSs became popular. MP3 players became popular and have faded. We talked a lot about camcorders for a while. I don't know if people really buy camcorders anymore, with most cameras having excellent video and most camera phones and even tablets. So things change. Times change. We certainly talk a lot more about tablets and cell phones than ever before because those are that's really the personal computer growth area right now. That's where all the action is in mobile. And now I think we're going to have to add a new category, cord-cutting devices like the Google Chromecast. Wow, you know? So my Nexus 7 did finally arrive, I'm happy to say, and I'm holding it in my hot little hands. The thing that makes it so interesting, frankly, is the Retina display. It is a 323 dots per inch display, much better than the first Nexus 7, and, interestingly, much better than the iPad mini. Much better, much higher resolution than the iPad mini. In fact, many posited when the iPad mini came out. I was a little disappointed. I said, wait a minute, Apple's got what they call Retina displays, high-resolution displays on their phone and on their big tablet. Why can't they do it on the mini? And I was told, oh, Leo, you're so ignorant. It would be too expensive. The battery life would suffer. Surely you don't expect Apple to do that. Who would want to pay for it? Who would want only 3 hours battery life? So I said, all right, I shut up. I said, I wish it were Retina, but okay, I guess I can't have that. Whoopsies. I don't think that much has changed. In fact, I know it hasn't. Battery technology is the same. Google's selling a Retina display 7-inch tablet for $229, $110 less than the iPad mini. And it looks good. Wow. Anyway, I'm going to play with it a little bit. I'll have a review for you tomorrow on the show. But I have to say, Google's really, really playing this game right. And Apple's got to respond now. Apple's got to respond, not just on the iPad front. The next Google phone, the Moto X, from everything I've heard, is unbelievable. Is really going to be an impressive phone. And Apple's just got to do something. They got to respond. And, of course, we'll watch with interest. Let's get back to the phones. Richard's on the line, our next caller in Thousand Oaks. Hi, Richard. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
How you doing, Leo?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm swell, but let me bear with you. First of all, about the only use I use on a phone, I have a friend's phone in my hand, and that's about the technical aspect of it for me. Yesterday, my son's car got broken, and they stole his phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. He canceled his service.
Good.
Now, my question to you is, being not knowing anything, is there any way that they can track that phone by chance?
Well, if it's an iPhone or a late model Android device, both of those have Find My Phone features. Of course, he would have had to turn it on.
I see, and I'm pretty sure he didn't because there was some conversation about that yesterday.
Yeah, was it a smartphone? What kind of phone was it?
iPhone. It was an iPhone. That's all I know.
Yeah, and he didn't turn it on, huh? So that's a cautionary tale for everybody listening. It's free. Go into your. It's not on by default. Go into your settings and turn on Find My Phone. In Android, it's got different names depending on who the manufacturer is. But all of the late model Android phones and the iPhones offer this as a free feature. Now, if it was stolen,
right,
and you knew where it was, would my recommendation be go get it? Absolutely not.
Well, it all depends if I can get them. You know, when
yeah, well, you know, it could be a den of thieves. You could be shot for your phone.
I can understand that, too.
Now, I've heard stories. In fact, we've seen them on the Internet of people saying, I can see where it is. And, you know, what you do is you get a map with a dot on it. Now, there's a couple of things that I do recommend. And when you turn this on, you turn on the ability to remotely wipe the phone, which is great. Because if you've got stuff on it, you want to wipe it off. And they'll let you play a very loud tone out of the phone, which is great if you leave it in the seat cushion or you left it in a restaurant. You know it's in a restaurant. You go back to the restaurant. They say, well, we don't know where it is. You press that button, and they go, oh, we know where it is now. It's in my pocket. But really, don't. If you turn on Find My Phone and it's been stolen, you don't want to track it down. You could get in a confrontation that could be very costly. Not worth it. It's just a phone. It's not worth it. Now, the police department, you could call them. Whether they'll respond is another matter. Phones get stolen a lot. I remember reading a story in the New York Post, which is not exactly a bastion of credibility, but nevertheless, a New York newspaper, which said that the NYPD was being very aggressive about tracking people's phones down using this Find My Phone technology. I find that hard to believe. Have you ever had anything stolen? Your car ever been broken into and the stereo stolen? You go make a police report. What do they say? Okay, got it. Thanks. Well, are you going to go find it? No. But if it shows up in Lost and Found, we'll let you know. They don't normally actively go out and seek this stuff. There's not enough time in the day to do that. I should mention that the police do have location capabilities above and beyond Find My Phone, but it's not super accurate. Any smartphone has cell towers that it's talking to, and the phone company can pretty well position you within a few hundred feet. And the police have access to that. In fact, as far as we know, most cell phone companies offer free or inexpensive portals for law enforcement where they can just say, hey, phone number XYZ, where is it right now? And they'll tell you. Actually, it's not free. It's usually $1.50. They don't need a warrant to do this. This is not legally required. So occasionally, the police will do that. It's more likely that if you lost your kid and the kid had the phone in his pocket, the police would then say, all right, well, let's see if we can find the kid. That's different. Be very careful, even if you had a law. There is no default thing. If your child didn't turn on the iPhone, Find My Phone, lesson learned, do it next time. But please, folks, if you've got that turned on and you see where the phone is, do not confront the person who stole your phone. That seems a risky thing. Steve in Chino Hills, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Leo, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Great. I talked to you last week about my Galaxy S4 corrupting the pictures on the memory card.
Oh, dear, yeah.
That one, yeah, that one's, it was the memory card, so I swapped it out. Everything's fine. But
yeah, yeah. These things happen. You know, memory cards, like any other storage device, can fail.
Yep. But speaking of cutting the cords, I am installing a NVR with 6 or 8 security cameras in a large house. And they came up to me and said they wanted to be able to view the cameras on their big screen TV that's in their family room, which is on the other side of the house from where the NVR is going to be. And I had an idea that maybe I could use one of those, and I don't know if you've had any experience with them, the little Android mini PC dongles.
Sure.
Being able to go into Chrome because it runs Android.
Yes. So this camera you can surf to? It's on the net?
Yes. It has network access. So
well, this would be a great candidate for the Chromecast. So for $35, you plug that into your TV. Now, if they have a laptop or an Android device with the Chrome browser, they can browse to the security camera and then send that tab to the Chromecast and watch it on their big screen TV. It's not very compelling entertainment, but they can do it. So any device, yes, any device, a Google TV could do this. Many smart TVs have browsers. You should check and see if their TV has a browser built in. It could do it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. This is one thing I like about Android. So saying, do you want to use Google Services backup? Bring apps, settings, and other data to this tablet you previously backed up to your Google account? Yes. I'll give it location information as well. These do have GPS built into them, by the way, unlike the Wi-Fi iPads, I might add. So this is nice. So I always turn the backup and restore on. That means what will happen as soon as I say yes to this is it'll start downloading my apps and settings from my previous account, which is really handy.
So you got the 16. The 32 doesn't come out yet?
The 16, that's right. I got the 16 because that's all Amazon had.
Yeah, the 32 said it ships in 3 to 4 weeks.
I'll show you the, let's just finish this up and I'll show you the free space on this. That would be interesting. The free space is quite good. So I don't know if, it depends. You know, you should look on how much you've used. Whoops. Storage, there it is. So free space on this is 12 gigs. That's a lot. Certainly for me, it's plenty. You wouldn't want to, you know, you couldn't put your music library on there though. So
I usually put videos, so that way if I'm traveling, I don't have to.
Yeah, okay. If you want to save videos on.
Yeah,
so then you'd want the 32 because that would have 30 plus 32 would have 44 free gigs, which is a lot. And this does not have SD card support. So as I should write this down, as configured out of the box, about 12 gigs free. That's very much not like a Samsung Galaxy, for instance, which they loaded up with so much junk. Like the Galaxy S4 has like 8 gigs free or something on a 16 gig. It's very, very full. This is one of the nice things about a pure vanilla Google experience is, and you know, I have to say I like 4.2 and 4.3 so much that I really don't feel the need for a launcher on this. So what's going to happen now is it's starting to download stuff. System update downloaded, 11 new updates. So it's going to start downloading apps. Here's the Android. Boy, it didn't come with 4.3, so I have to do that. Let that run. I will. I'll load Twit Live as soon as it's done with this. It's one of the first things I do on every new device. See if we work. Yeah, I have to say I'm more and more... some of the features like the Zoe that HTC provides and there's HTC highlights in the gallery, some of those features are really great. But in general, I think now, here's what happened, is Android wasn't very good, frankly, for a long time. And so manufacturers felt that they improved things by putting their... In fact, I talked to the guy who invented Motorola Blur, and he said we had to because, you know, we couldn't sell an out-of-the-box experience that was Android, pure Android. That's changed. That really has changed. And I think at this point, with 4.3, I'm completely content to use vanilla Android. It's gotten so good. We'll let this go. Yeah, it is like watching paint dry. I hated Moto Blur. The worst. Also the worst name. I love it. Leo Laporte, I don't care. The tech guy, I don't care. I love it. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. Back to the phones we go. The next call, Marty in Huntington Beach, California. Hey, Marty.
Hey, Leo, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good, except I've got a little problem with my computer.
Oh, no.
Yes, I know. I'm running Vista on my computer.
There's problem number one. Go ahead.
I know, but I'm unemployed right now, so I can't afford to.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna beat you up.
I'm having problems with the security updates in Microsoft Essentials, and it keeps telling me that the virus and spyware definitions couldn't be updated.
Oh.
So I went to Microsoft and I did everything that they've told me. They had different sections.
Yeah.
I 5 different ways. At one point, I lost my desktop completely. I had a screen. I lost Chrome at one point. I restored it back to the last date of a good update, but it's still saying that the virus and spyware definitions can't be updated. So I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, that's important to fix. What happens, unfortunately, what happens with updates? If you think about it, it's certainly in your interest that the operating system be able to update itself automatically without intervention, because these are important fixes and people don't do them. It's nice to be able to do it, but updating something on the fly is like fixing an airplane engine in the air. It is fraught with peril. and it's amazing that it really works as reliably as it does. Microsoft's worked very hard to make this work, but occasionally on-the-fly updates run into problems. And it happens with Windows Update as well, and they get stuck. And the real problem is once it gets stuck, once an update doesn't complete, the next update can't be done. You can no longer update because it's waiting for this one to finish. So I'm hoping that's what's happened here. I've not heard of this with Security Essentials, but it's the same principle. I see no reason why it couldn't happen. There are other reasons you couldn't update an antivirus. You know, that's one of the first things virus authors do is break your antivirus. If you get go ahead.
I'm sorry. I should say it keeps telling me that my internet or network connection is faulty, but I'm fine. Everything else works fine.
Yeah, what I think the best thing to do, fortunately, this is easy to do with Security Essentials, is to uninstall it.
I did.
And reinstalled it?
And reinstalled it.
And nothing.
And nothing. I've got the same message. Virus and spyware definitions could not be updated.
You know, one thing you might want to do is run a scan just to be safe. There's 2 scans I'm going to ask you to do. You don't have to do them while you're on the air, but I'll have you do it as homework. One is the built-in scan. You do run Windows Update automatically, right? Every second Tuesday you get the patches.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Good. You're probably safe then. Every second Tuesday, not only does Microsoft update their operating system, it updates something called the malicious software removal tool. This is a little thing that Microsoft's been putting out for some time now. It's great, and I don't think people really know about it because it has no interface unless you know the secret. And I'm going to give you the secret, which is you click the Start button and select Run, okay? And you're going to get a little run box, and you're going to type MRT. It should be MSRT, but it's not. MRT, Microsoft Removal Tool, and hit Return. And then you get a program runs. There's not an icon for it anywhere, but it will run. And this is the malicious software removal tool. Do a thorough scan. One thing Microsoft does every second Tuesday is they do a quick scan. They update it, put new definitions in, and do a quick scan. Do a thorough scan. This is a very effective tool for at least finding out if there's here's what I'm doing here is I want to make sure there's nothing on your system that's blocking this. So do a thorough scan. That is a good tool, but it isn't an antivirus. It doesn't watch for activity. It just gives you a chance to remove stuff after the fact. So check and see if it comes up with anything, okay? If it doesn't, then you can go to ESET.com. That's one of our sponsors. They're an antivirus company, but they offer a free online scanner that's at their website, ESET.com. And just check that.
Okay. I will try those.
Yeah, those are a couple of things to do. It is not unusual. You've obviously gone to Microsoft and gone through the troubleshooter.
Right, and they had 2 different ways I could do it. They did have me run a scan through a third party.
Oh, all right. Well, you've already done all that. You've already done all that.
Came up with some stuff, got rid of it, but I'm still. At times it says it's protected. At other times it says it's not protected. Yeah. I don't know what to do with this thing.
I don't think. Yeah, it's if you've done all that, then you probably don't have any malware. You're doing everything right. You're obviously smart.
Thank you.
Yeah. There is at ESET a services fix program that you can run as well. This sometimes it sounds like maybe there's a service been damaged or turned off. You don't have a firewall on there, do you?
Just a Windows firewall.
Just Windows. You didn't buy a third-party firewall.
Oh, no.
No. Because those can conflict, right? Because it can say, oh, I'm not going to, whatever's going on here, I don't like it. I do like it. But that's good. No third-party stuff. That's good. I would go to ESET.com, run the malware inspector. I don't think you're going to have anything because you've already done that. And then get the services troubleshooter. It's called ESET Services Fix. And try that.
Okay.
And worst case, if you still don't get it, you can reinstall Vista. When you go through the installer at one point, it'll say, do you want me to repair? I see there's an existing install. Do you want me to repair it? Do that.
Okay.
That also is another way to fix things. I hope one of those works. You're right to be concerned. You do want to have an up-to-date antivirus. I hope one of those works. Thank you for listening. Alex, Chicago, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Leo. I have a question for you. I recently bought a Panasonic ST60, and I love the picture.
Isn't that a great TV? I'm a fan.
Oh, I really am. Yeah. And there is one problem I've been having, though. It seems like no matter what input I use, there's always a black border around the screen. You know, at least 3/16 of an inch. And I've tried unplugging
So you've gone to the views, and you've looked at zoomed and stretched and all of that stuff.
Yeah, when I put it on now, if I put it on for the screen aspect ratio, when I use the adjust mode,
yeah,
it's still take a good 3/16 of an inch around.
So in other words, the screen is miscalibrated. It's not using the full display for some reason.
Correct. And it's even worse when I go to, like, say, full mode, which is supposed to be what they say is the original aspect ratio, which I thought would be the most accurate, but it doesn't appear to be.
How long have you had the TV?
Oh, maybe about a month.
Did this just start happening, or did it happen out of the box?
I think it was from the beginning.
I would guess if it's a month old, it's from the beginning, and it needs to be fixed. So you have to call Panasonic. They screwed up.
Okay, all right. Because even when it's off, you notice like a sharp black border around the side.
No, it should go all the way to the bezel. I have a Viera as well. It should go all the way to the bezel.
Which is what I thought. Yeah. I did talk to their tech support a couple days ago, and I'm waiting for their...
Yeah, they'll do warranty repairs. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'm sorry, but I have a new lover. I'm sorry. It's pretty. Boy, it looks good. Now, in preparation for this, I've been using the old Nexus 7 for the last 4 days, pretty heavily, playing with it and so forth. I'll pass it around, don't worry. I see a few of you have 7-inch tablets. That's a Kindle? iPad? Good, so you might want to see this. And you have a... you're going to be very interested, older Nexus, so yeah. You can immediately see the difference. Oh, it's stunning. I mean, let's look at the detail on Bruce Willis. You could see every hair on his head. Wait a minute. There's no hair on his head. So it's right now it's downloading the updates. I'll be interested to see if it download. Yeah, it's starting to download my apps now. So this is going to take a while. These are my custom apps. This is the new version 7 Google Maps. Let's turn on satellite. Oh, it's crisp. That is nice. Oh, you could tell the difference. Holy moly. Magole. Now, I have Nova launcher, but I'm gonna stick with the default launcher for some time. All right. There's half a battery full, so if you want to play with that, you can pass it around. There's no lock on it. Hey, it's Johnny J.
Hey, what's up?
Now, where are you? Are you at Dad's?
Close. I'm at the
airport.
I just literally landed. My headphones just broke.
Oh, no.
And the kids are crying everywhere. There's babies everywhere crying.
I don't hear the
TVs are
babies. It sounds nice and quiet, actually.
Well, I just ran to the quietest spot I could find, which is right by the TSA checkpoint, which I'm sure they're going to kick me out.
Thank you.
But can you hear me okay, or should I call you on my phone?
No, it sounds great.
Wow.
Picture's not awesome, but I hear you great.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about, Mr. Vagabond?
Well, I thought that since I was in your studio this week and they interviewed you, I could do a quick travel style interview, which I do with a lot of famous travelers.
Sounds like
I thought
fun.
I could ask you some questions.
Good deal.
All right, good.
I love being the star of my own show. Nobody ever asks me anything.
Let me get the questions up.
It was kind of fun to. No, that's my chili. It was kind of. I meant to look at her. It's kind of fun to be interviewed. I kind of like it.
Listen, when they were interviewing, I was like, man, I wish I could ask them some questions.
Travel
like,
questions.
Well, yeah, and I was like, maybe I can when our interview comes up. By the way, this will be the first time I've ever done a video interview like this. They're all usually emailed.
Well, we'll record it and give it to you.
Great. Perfect.
Actually, didn't require any change because we're recording it anyway. But
You need to send it to him. This will
So
be
do
good.
you like this view or do you like this one?
Oh.
we can't see you in this view. All we see is a silhouette.
All right, you can see Egypt Air coming in right now.
I can guess what airport you're at, though. That would be fun. Is it LAX? Where are you?
Guess the airport.
Come on, brother.
Come on,
LAX.
brother. Is it JFK?
I'm not telling you.
Oh, man. That tower looks familiar, but I can't place it. And I know it's distinctive. Here we go.
Billboard for DSL Extreme.
Thank you. This portion of the Tech Guy Show brought to you by my internet service provider, DSL Extreme, for high-speed internet at an amazing price. Call 866-2-GET-NET to get DSL Extreme. To get Johnny Jet, you just go to johnnyjet.com or tune in every week because Johnny joins us. He was in our studio on Thursday. It was so good to have you, Johnny.
It was nice to be up there and see where all the magic happens.
Had so much fun. We love Johnny so much. We were going to do a podcast with Johnny, a Johnny Jet technology travel tech show. And we'll debut that this fall. But meanwhile, Johnny joins us every week at this time when he's not, in the air. Actually, where are you? Are you at an airport?
I'm actually at an airport, and I'm going to show you outside the window.
Okay.
I know the listeners can't see, but...
I see a Swiss Air jet. So you're at the international terminal.
We just call it Swiss. They don't like to be called Swiss Air.
Oh, there's a difference.
They're
okay.
just Swiss.
Swiss.
Yes, because after they had that crash, they changed the name to Swiss.
That fooled everybody. That completely fooled me. So the chat room says that they recognize that control tower as JFK.
I'm at JFK. I just landed. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning in San Francisco. Man. Stayed at the Aloft Hotel. Took 7 minutes to get to the airport.
That's nice.
And literally took 10 seconds to go through security, that TSA pre-check, which you need to sign up for.
Yeah, you talked about that last week. I know.
Yes, we did. So I thought since I was in your studio this weekend, tomorrow is your 1,000th episode, and Thursday was your 2-year anniversary. I thought that...
Yeah, a lot of milestones.
And since they were interviewing you on Triangulation, I thought I could do a little triangulation with you and interview you about your travel style. We have a section on my website called Travel Style where I interview famous travelers, and you're going to be the next one.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm excited. Yeah, johnnyjet.com. So now you say you've only done this via email. You've never done it in person.
I always send emails to people say, hey, do you mind filling out these 20 questions? Well, and so we'll go through the questions.
You've got some famous people on here, by the way. And so I'm honored to be in this group.
Hey.
Yeah.
You got Andrew McCarthy. He's a big travel writer now.
Yeah.
Samantha Brown from the Travel Channel.
Look at all these people.
All right. People.
So ask me some questions. I don't know if we'll get all 20, but ask me some questions.
All right. So name, occupation, hometown. We can forget about that.
You know all about that.
We all know that. So how often do you fly?
How often do I fly? Well, it used to be a lot when I went to Canada every month for a week, but it's calmed down considerably. I'd say 4 times a year.
All right. How many countries do you think you've been to?
Well over 25. In fact, I just had to get pages added to my passport. I got 24 more pages because they're all full. I love to travel.
You're trying to tell me you don't travel enough to get global entry. That's a whole nother subject.
I love to travel.
How many continents have you been to?
All but 6. All but 1. I haven't been to Antarctica yet. Yep. And I came this close. We were getting on a plane to go, and the pilot said, "No, sorry, the weather's too bad." I almost got my 7th.
Where was that?
That was Argentina. Yes, Chile, actually. Punta de Arenas or something like that, yeah.
All right. And so what's your favorite American city?
New York. Well, San Francisco and New York. Favorite international?
Yep.
Right now it's Paris.
Okay. And do you have a least favorite country?
I got to be really careful when I say now. You got me now.
You don't have to answer it, but
least favorite country. There's no way I can answer this without getting in a lot of trouble. You understand that?
That's true. All right, so we'll skip that.
I do have okay, I'll put it this way. Yes, I do. But I'm not going to tell you what it is. North Korea.
All right.
Yeah, I've
So,
never been there, but I ain't going.
So what's your favorite World Heritage site? Do you have one?
I've only been to one, and it was
I'm sure you've been
amazing.
to more,
Machu
but which
Picchu.
one?
Machu
Oh, yeah,
Picchu
that's-
blew me away.
I'm sure. That's a good one.
Yeah.
How about, do you have a favorite airline?
Yeah, Emirates.
All right. How about a favorite aircraft type? Do you care what kind of plane you're on?
Oh, I do. I like jumbo jets. And actually, I really like the 740s. I really like the 747. I haven't been on an A380 yet, though. I know you're going on one soon, and I'm jealous.
I went around the world on the Singapore Airlines A380. But have you been on the new 747-800? Lufthansa flies it right now.
I'm going to be on that in 2 months, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I can't wait to hear about that one. How about, what do you choose, aisle or window when you fly?
Window. I like to look out the window.
Me too. How about, what's your favorite airport lounge?
I think Frankfurt. And it's, I think it's the
their first class lounge is the best.
Yeah, it's a very nice lounge. Yeah,
it doesn't get any better. You're good, buddy.
Sydney was
How about
good. Sydney was nice too, but I like Frankfurt.
What's your favorite U.S. airport?
You're gonna laugh at me.
SFO. You're gonna say
no. I don't. I hate us. All airports are horrible. The airports I like are like Burbank, because you get off the plane and you get in the cab like in 5 feet. That's what I like.
Yeah. All right. I don't think anyone's ever answered Burbank before in this Q&A.
I like to walk out of the plane, get in the cab, and I'm gone. There's no good airports.
How about international airport? And there's some good international airports.
That's a good question. I hate Heathrow.
And don't say Frankfurt. Don't say Frankfurt.
I know. I've already said Frankfurt. I hate Heathrow.
Frankfurt's a terrible airport.
Yeah. Usually they're
Terminal
awful.
5 is good.
Actually, you know what?
Singapore Changi can't be beat, or Hong Kong.
I've been to Singapore, and I don't remember the airport. I haven't been to Hong Kong.
Okay.
I'm going to have to say SFO, because that's the one I spent a lot of time in.
All right. Well, T2 is good in SFO.
T2 is the best.
Yep.
Terminal.
So do you have a favorite hotel?
That's what us frequent travelers call Terminal 2 with T2. It's too many syllables to say. Favorite hotel?
Come on, Leo.
I like the leading hotels of the world. Almost all of them are fabulous.
You can't go wrong there, buddy.
And I'm trying to remember.
You get some good taste.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I do like the Shangri-La in Singapore. Is very nice.
I've stated that one.
Yeah.
Green Valley.
Yeah.
How about a favorite cruise line?
Well, I don't know yet, but I think I'm going to like Seabourn an awful lot. I haven't gone on it yet, but I'm very excited. Cunard would be my choice. I've been on Cunard before, and I like that.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a favorite island?
Yeah, Tasmania.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think too many people said Tasmania.
Yeah, no, it's an unusual island.
How about favorite fancy restaurant and hole-in-the-wall restaurant?
My favorite fancy restaurant, you're going to laugh at me, is Joel Robuchon's Atelier in Las Vegas. It's better than the Paris one, and it's fabulous.
All
and
right.
Best hole-in-the-wall is Mom is Cooking just north of the San Francisco airport. It is very, very good Mexican, and it is literally a hole in the wall.
You're going to have to take me there sometime.
I will,
I got a few more. I don't know how much time we have.
Yeah, keep
favorite
going.
fruit?
Say again?
Favorite fruit? Favorite fruit.
Favorite fruit?
Yep.
I like the oogly fruit. You ever have an oogly fruit?
No.
It's ugly but delicious. I think it's UGLI, yeah. And it's kind of a citrusy fruit. It's very ugly, but it's delicious. It's a Jamaican Tangelo.
My favorite's mangosteen, by the way, which you have to try sometime in Southeast Asia.
Oh, yeah, I want to try a mangosteen, but I will never eat a durian. That's the fruit you can't bring into the Singapore subways because it smells like death.
You'll get a $500 fine if you do.
Yep. That's the oogly fruit. It's a cross between a grapefruit, an orange, and a tangerine.
All right, so what's your favorite food and least favorite food?
My favorite food, spaghetti. Least favorite food, pig's ears. I was in Paris, France, at a zinc bar. Those traditional old zinc. It was called Le Petit Zinc, very famous restaurant. And they had something on the menu called l'oreille de cochon, which literally is pig's ear. And I thought, well, it's probably a pastry. I ordered it. It was actually pig's ear. Not tasty. Little chewy.
So what's your drink of choice? What's your drink of choice in the air and on the ground?
In the air, water. I drink a lot of it, and I do not drink alcohol on an airplane. Yep. Actually, I like water on the ground, but if you're probably thinking alcoholic, so I'm going to say mojito.
Mojito. All right.
Yeah.
And what are your What are 5 things you bring on the plane?
iPad, although that might change now with the Nexus 7. My Etymotic earbuds, because I don't use noise-canceling headphones. I like in-ear headphones. That's 2. My Briggs & Riley new roll-on case, fabulous. And my MacBook Air. And I'm out of time. JohnnyJet.com. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, and my current phone of choice, whatever that is, my Android device, so I can listen to my books, my audio books.
And I still had a few more questions.
Go ahead. You got time? We're not off the. We're off the radio.
That's good. So, what do you always seem to forget?
Oh God, I frequently forget my glasses, which is a terrible thing. I had one year. Once I had to have my ex-wife FedEx me my glasses to Toronto. I'd forgotten them. That's a dumb thing to forget. But most frequently, probably it's my razor. But that's good news is you can always call downstairs and they'll get you one.
And what would you want your loved one to buy you from an airport duty-free store? Time's up.
Habano cigars, Cohibas.
Okay. And what's your favorite travel iPhone app? Or app, any app. Doesn't have to
My
be
favorite
iPhone.
travel app, I use TripIt religiously, and I am a huge TripIt fan. TripIt is awesome, and I use it all the time.
What's your most embarrassing travel moment?
Oh, this was awful. We arrived at the airport, the whole family, and I had accidentally left Henry's luggage at home. I forgot to put it in the car, and we got to the airport, and his bags weren't there. We actually had to fly the next day. That was really embarrassing.
I can't stop laughing.
We got all the bags out of the car, and Jennifer goes, "Where's Henry's bags?" I said, "What? These are the bags I loaded." You didn't put Henry's bags in the car? I didn't see them. I put them right next to the car. I didn't see them. We had to drive back because it's an hour and a half back to Petaluma to get his bags.
Oh my God. What's your dream destination?
I think my dream destination right now is Kyoto because I haven't been there. I've been so many places, but I really want to go to Kyoto badly and see the temples and the...
That's awesome to go to Kyoto.
Yeah, I'm dying. And also,
Although
as long as I'm there, to go see the monkeys.
The city is disappointing, by the
Is
way.
it?
But once you go outside...
I've heard that. Yeah, people say, you don't want to go to Kyoto.
Well, you want to meet the geishas and have dinner with them? That's pretty cool. I did that once.
I'd love to have dinner with geishas. I didn't know they still existed.
Yeah. So my last one is, what's your best travel tip?
Well, everybody's going to say pack light, which is a very good travel tip.
Yeah, but you give me something like a little bit more techie.
You know what? If I travel without my Etymotic headphones, I die. You have to have headphones on an airplane that will seal out the noise, because otherwise you're in for 5 hours of hell. Oh, and don't leave your passport at home. That's a good one, too. Thank you, James.
That's a good one.
Jennifer, once we were in Paris, lost her passport. Oh, my God, that was a nightmare.
Well,
we actually left without her.
In Estonia.
Yeah, we actually left without her. We had to go home.
I'll tweet you Natalie's story about her living in Estonia. It was my worst travel moment.
It's terrible. Don't ever lose your passport.
Don't ever lose your passport.
Oof. But now I carry, well, actually, even then, we had Xeroxes of all the passports, so it was a little easier. But the U.S. Embassy in Paris is like Fort Knox. It's like, you feel like you're a terrorist. Yeah. Oh, my God.
And you can't take a picture of the building either.
You can feel all these eyes on you, and it's a little slit in the door. I mean, they are so scared. It's sad. So, yeah, there you go. Etymotic, E-T-Y-M-O-T-I-C. They're in-ear monitors, so they seal out the sound. They're not noise canceling, but I like the sound quality a lot. They're really good.
All right. So, well, Leo.
And I think a good carry-on. I'm really loving this Briggs & Riley. I have to say, I'm thrilled by this.
They're a very good travel brand.
Oh, and I know another one. Bring a lot of plugs, because there's never enough plugs. Bring extension cords and chargers.
I always do that, especially on the cruise, by the way, because on the cruise there's only 2 outlets.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hey, thanks, Johnny. That was fun.
All right, Leo.
Take care.
I'll see you next week.
Alrighty. Yes. Take care. Have fun.
Take care. Bye-bye.
That was fun. JohnnyJet.com is Johnny's website. You can follow him on Twitter @JohnnyJet. He's always tweeting useful travel tips. Really an expert on getting the most out of traveling online. It's fabulous. 8888 Ask Leo is the number. All of our stuff, everything we talk about is posted on our website, techguylabs.com. It's always free, no subscription. There's free podcasts there, and every show is up there with questions and answers, and you can read the question and answer or even listen to it or watch the video of it. And then, and I hope you will do this, add your 2 cents in the comments section. That makes it even more valuable. TechGuyLabs.com. Gary in Laguna Niguel, you're next. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Hi, Gary.
Well, hello, Leo. Let's see, Dr. Bird here.
Hi, Dr. Bird.
Let's see. Well, I finally decided to go out and go get a smartphone.
You didn't have a smartphone?
No, I didn't. No.
Wow, Dr. Bird, welcome to the 21st century.
Exactly. Well, now I've got the smartphone, and I got my photos on it, because what I did, I pulled the micro SD card out of my bright side, and now it's in the S3. And I decided to add some videos.
Yeah.
As you've seen my videos that are on my Flickr site.
Yeah.
I put a couple of those on. Matter of fact, I even have even more now on this existing memory card. So I put them on there, and I go to play it on the S3, and I can't get it to play. So what's happening here?
Well, this is often a problem with smartphones, which is they feel like a computer, but of course they're in a constrained environment. They have to have better battery life, the smaller screen, and often they don't have the capability of playing back every possible video codec. So that's what I think the issue is the codec. Now, you're probably trying to play it back with the built-in camera, built-in video app from Samsung.
Well, remember, these are photos taken with my 1DX and the 7D. And
I thought these were videos.
Put onto the micro SD card.
These aren't videos, these are stills?
No. These are videos. These are videos that I've recorded with the 1DX and, of course, the 7D.
Right. So that doesn't change anything I just said. Doesn't matter how you took them. The videos are in a format that the phone cannot play back.
Oh.
So you need to either get a better player. You're probably trying to play them back with the Samsung Video app.
Right.
There are many. Go look at video players. The chat room is recommending MX Player. VLC is also good. Those have more codecs built in. A codec, short for compression decompression, is a software used to play back video. Video cannot be played uncompressed. Not even on your TV. It's too dense, too rich, too much data. So video is always compressed, and particularly so for small devices like the Samsung. Probably what's happening is your high-quality cameras putting out a form. I think the Canon's put out MOV files, but it's what's within the MOV. It's how it's compressed that matters. Probably H.264, and probably in too high of a bit rate for the phone to play back. It just doesn't have enough juice. But I would try another player, the MX Player or VLC. If it still can't play it back, then what you'll need to do before you put it on the SD card and put it into the phone is recompress it. Open it in any video application and save it out in a smaller, simpler form. H.264 is fine, but when you save it, you can say how many bits per second. Save it to a lower bit rate. Try that. It's just this codec thing is unfortunate. The same thing happened a little bit in audio. There was uncompressed audio, wave form, or other forms like that. Wave is where Windows AIFF is on the Apple side. And then in order to make it small enough to put it on players, we created MP3, right? But MP3 is kind of the lingua franca. That's kind of the standard in audio. There are other formats, Ogg Vorbis and things like that, but they're much less common. Unfortunately, on video side, it's a Tower of Babel. There's hundreds of different kinds of video formats, and just they're not. They don't all work. So it's an issue of getting it into a format that the phone can understand, or getting a player that's more capable than the built-in Samsung software. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Art in West L.A. Hello, Art.
Hello.
What can I do for you?
Well, it's not I want a database. Something's gone seriously wrong with mine.
Uh-oh. What do you store your photos in?
It's just on my hard drive. I have a folder, but I have AC/DC as the viewing program. And I thought that was the problem, and I reinstalled or uninstalled and reinstalled. I keep getting that stupid little box that says the action can't be completed because the program is busy. Switch to activate the busy program and correct the problem. Image database cannot be opened from the currently configured location. And so that keeps repeating over and over, and I try and click it off or switch to or retry. That doesn't do any good. And then it asks, would you like to reset the image database configuration to location?
So wait a minute. Let me get this straight, because maybe I misunderstood you. You're just doing this in Windows in a folder.
Yeah, when I go to click on a JPEG to open a JPEG.
And it says you've got the image database has failed.
It doesn't say that it's failed. It says the action cannot be complete because program
is the message from Windows or from AC/DC?
From Windows.
So have you tried other views in that folder?
Yeah, even when I use like Paint or something like that, it doesn't matter.
Same thing, huh?
Yeah, and it says image database cannot be opened from the default location. Database will be disabled. Please reconfigure database location manually from the options panel.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this. It's obviously an error, a Microsoft-generated error. When Microsoft does something interesting, what version of Windows are you?
I'm sorry?
What version of Windows?
It's Vista, I don't know.
Vista. And are these JPEGs?
Yeah.
So what Microsoft does from Vista on is it looks at the contents of the folder. When it sees photos, it says, oh, this is a folder with photos, and I'm going to show thumbnails. I'm going to treat it differently.
Right.
And that's why I wondered if you could get a different view on it, because it sounds like, I mean, in that case, what it would do is create a database of thumbnails. That's what it's going to display, those little thumbnails.
Okay.
If that's corrupted, yeah, the folder won't display the thumbnails, but that doesn't mean the data is damaged. So what I'm curious about is whether the data is still there, or there's some more serious, hard drive damage or fat damage, file allocation table damage. So
does a system rollback, for a month help?
Wouldn't hurt to try it. What I would probably want to do, if it were me, I would open a command line and I would navigate to that folder and see if I could see what's in it. In other words, bypass the graphic interface entirely.
Okay.
And do you know how to use the command line?
Is that where the magnifying glass is?
No. Yeah. See, this is something that only a geek would do. But if you click Start Run and you click Start, hit Run, and you type CMD, it'll open a shell window, DOS basically, that'll say C:\\/ and then you could use the CD command, that's change directory, to change to that directory. So CD, and you'll have to find that directory name.
Okay.
But if you change to that directory and then type dir to list the contents, if you see a bunch of JPEGs, oh, good news. The data's there, it's just the thumbnails are damaged. However, if you don't see JPEGs there, then the hard drive has had some damage, and that's a little bit more tricksy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. He says he can't see it in AC/DC either. I said DIR. What did I say?
In business, we rely on sending and receiving.
Sometimes I do that. So, yeah, I don't see Twit Live, but don't we have HLS streaming on this thing? Yes, dear.
Gary, the call dropped, and he was like, "Can you just tell me what he was saying to download to get the images onto or the videos onto his new smartphone?" Do you remember?
Dr. Bird. Yeah, I said MX Player or VLC. It doesn't sound like a Windows issue, no, but I'm going to have to take his word for it when he says that. So let's see. I think we have on our main site the sophistication to say, oh, you don't have Flash. Oh, crap, we don't. Yeah, I think we've always had this trouble with Android, haven't we? So Ustream is the one that should have, but doesn't. Is that right? We do not use Silverlight. but thanks for that. We use Flash, except for we have a couple of HLS streaming sources. So let's try live.twit.tv/m. That's what you get if you go on a iPhone and iOS. I don't know if it's going to work because it's going to give you iOS choices here. But let's see. Oh, it did work. What a good tip. Thank you. Live.twit.tv/M. Now, I guess the reason that we don't do that is that doesn't work right is we can't sense what you're coming in on, I guess. I'll have to ask the boys. So, looks pretty good. What'd you think? It's a nice screen, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Huge difference. Now, this is where I hate it, because I always hit these capacitive buttons at the bottom, and I forget, oh, yeah, this is on screen. But you know what? On screen is better, because you can then rotate it arbitrarily, and the buttons are always in the same spot, which is, frankly, a better UI. So I'm going to get used to it. See, it's downloading all my crap now. Yeah, you know, that's the one thing I love about the HTC One. Let me play some music, and we'll see here. Do I have the... Now, don't get all freaky about this. This is the first time you do this. Sometimes that happens because it's loading all these new apps. Ooh, this. Let's see. Oh, you know what I should do is look at Tapped Out. Oh, I'm not logged in. I'll have to log in. I'm curious if it will show a Chromecast button. I don't think it will, right? Unless I have a Chromecast on the network.
That's Retina?
Huh? Yeah. Well, they can't call it Retina because that's an Apple term, but yes, 323 dots per inch. Here, I'll put something on it. You can see it. It's much better than an iPad.
Is it fast?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, it's $229, and it's Retina. The Mini is not Retina. So in that respect, yeah. You know, I mean, all of Michael's stuff is iPads, so. Well, he's got all iOS apps. So I don't know if it'd be good for Michael, if that's what you're thinking, but.
No, I'm thinking for me.
Oh, for you? Yeah, well, you'll get to play with it. You'll get to play with it. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be my go-to instead of the iPad Mini.
I don't like the Mini.
Yeah, no, well, this is like the Mini size, but with a very much better screen.
Okay, I have to look at that, yeah.
I have to put Swift key on this. I can't.
It's fast and it's
yeah. It's faster than the iPad, I would guess.
Nice. And functionality, everything.
Yeah, it's Android. You used Android.
Yeah. I didn't like the other one. It was slow.
This is faster than that one, yeah. I'll have to do the Netflix later. Got a couple of them. Actually, I should pee.
Let me just sit.
Sit here. Yeah.
I don't want to sit here. I just wanted to see it.
Sit on my ball.
Sit here and entertain the crowd.
Entertain the troops. Eat my chili.
I won't eat your chili. That'll never happen. This is pretty nice. Hi, everybody. Okay, it's pretty fast. Oh, Tapped Out? Okay, let's open up Tapped Out. This is something I know it's safe to go into. I want to see how fast it opens.
Did you log in already through his...
Hey, everybody. Yes, I'm playing with the new Nexus 7. Uh-oh.
Wait, he didn't do the updates? He doesn't have running
He's
time.
got a download.
He doesn't have running time.
No, that's on this one. It's brand new, so of course it's got to download all the updates.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go in something that is already... Well, that didn't really help,
He
did
loves
it?
Plants vs. Zombies.
It seems to be faster. What about Instagram? Well, I was trying to download Tapped Out, so... All right, there's really nothing on here, so I'll let Leo have his seat back.
Yeah, it's all on there.
Well, no, everything has to download.
No, it's here, see?
It was doing the update.
Yeah, it's downloading, but it's got a lot of stuff downloaded already. It's just not... It's got this Tapped Out, for instance. But it'll have to download the updates for Tapped Out.
Yeah, it has to download everything.
It'll be 400 megabytes of...
Right.
288 megabytes of crap. Yeah, Lisa is adorable. It's downloading. It just hasn't put anything on the desktop yet. Unlike other launchers, actually, isn't there a setting in the Play Store? I guess I don't want it to do that, to put all the icons on the desktop. I'll let this download. The girl behind Lisa was Liz. It doesn't, but I have CPU-Z on it, and I'll put that on it, and we can see. Well, the iPad Mini has a metal back, right? This is smooth plastic, a little bit of texture. I mean, honestly, really, do you care that much? Honest? Does that really bother you? It's a nice back. It's a good back. It's the front I care about more than the back, to be honest. Well, let's see the camera. I like the new Android camera app, by the way. But the Moto X is even better. Somebody just released an APK of the Moto X. It's nice, F and done. It's not, it's not textured like the old one was, but it's kind of rubberized plastic. And there's the, that's a vent, and this is the speakers. Ooh, what happened? Oh, autofocus is on. That's annoying. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers and the internet and cell phones and camcorders and MP3 players and home theater and tablets and cord-cutting devices and all sorts of stuff. And even like this Leap Motion, which I got today, this week. This is an interesting device. This company was founded about 3 years ago. It was raised, I think, $75 million in venture capital for a very odd thing. Now, you're looking at me funny, Heather. So here's what this is. You plug this in to your USB port. It's just a little doohickey.
And it's going to do what?
It's gone. Well, anyway.
Oh,
here's
leapt out of the box.
They sent me so many of them. I just go, I'll get another one. So, yeah, it leapt out of the box. So the idea is, you can see it's not very big. It's about, I don't know, what'd you say, the size of a small, like, mint tin or stick of chewing gum or something like that. Book of matches. Like a long, thin book of matches. You know, like it's like a matchbox where you have little wooden matches in it. Like something like that.
Yeah.
And there's a light on the front. There's a USB port, a USB 3 connector on the side. But the most important part is the top, which just looks like kind of reflective plastic. But really what is in there is an infrared invisible light that bounces off and bounces back in. And the idea is it reads the position of your hand. So you put this, you can put it in front of your computer. Generally, you'd either put it between the keyboard and the screen on a desktop, or on a laptop, you might put it in front of the keyboard. It doesn't matter. And then it sees your hands as pointing devices, and you can make gestures, kind of Minority Report style. You can sweep screens aside, and you can play with things. Now, right now, it's a little trivial. In fact, I had one that was bad out of the box. Fortunately, they sent me 4. Maybe they knew. So
it's a leap of faith.
It's a leap of faith. It's only $70. It's not expensive. Just came out on Monday. The idea is it's in addition to a mouse. You wouldn't replace a mouse and keyboard with it, but in addition to a mouse, you could use it to play games, or it was designed by a guy who did 3D modeling in clay, and he found it very frustrating moving from clay to a computer, and you have to mouse stuff around. He wanted to use his hands, and so the idea is if you're a 3D modeler, you could use your hands to gesture and design. It's a great idea, and people were very excited about it. All I've done is play Cut the Rope. It'd be good for Fruit Ninja, too. Anything where you want to swoosh stuff. I have the same problem with this, though, that I had with Kinect. It's made better, and it has higher resolution. But the same problem with Kinect, which is we're not used to using these gestures with computers. And so it's just, with Kinect, you put your hand out, and then you there's all these things you do, right, to get it to accept. The Leap Motion, same idea. You have to learn different commands. You press and hold and stuff. And just, it's counterintuitive. But maybe that's just because I'm an old dog and I can't learn new tricks. But anyway, it's an interesting product, and I'm sure we'll see more of it, and I will give it a more thorough review if I can just get it to work. I've had problems getting it to really respond. One of our hosts, Tom Merritt, said it had problems with his cuffs on his shirt sleeves. Oh. So maybe something about my shirt sleeves. I don't know. But a good idea. And, you know, what's great is innovation continues. It persists. It doesn't stop. And, you know, one of the things that happens with innovation is some things aren't great. Then we try something else. You can't not try something just because you think it might not be great, right? Yes. So that's the Leap Motion controller. I think it's 70 or 80 bucks. I think maybe 80 bucks on Amazon. And I would wait to buy it until we see more people review it. Somebody in San Diego's in the chat room asking me, do you think it will replace mice? Jim in San Diego. No. Keyboard and mouse works pretty darn well. Touch works pretty darn well. This would be an adjunct to those. I don't think it'll replace them. Maybe it will. Not in my lifetime. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Who should I take next, Heather?
Let's talk to John in St. George.
What? St. George?
Mm-hmm. You know where that is.
In Utah?
Uh-huh.
No, I didn't know where that was, but I see you've written Utah next to it. That's a convenient shorthand. Thank you, Heather Howman. John, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, John.
Hey, Leo.
Welcome.
Got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I've used plenty of your recommendations, including LegalZoom and Ring Central to start my company, but I cannot get calendars to sync for anything.
No problem getting an LLC or a Chapter C corporation, but calendar syncing, it's murder. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a hard thing to do, you know. Syncing is surprisingly one of those categories where you think a computer would be really good at it. Speech recognition, handwriting recognition, also in that category. And it turns out to be something that we can do easily ourselves. The computer's not as good at. And the problem with syncing in general is there's twofold. One is duplication, knowing that this is the same as that. And if you do that wrong, you could and everybody's afraid of doing this, so they don't. You could delete data. So what happens is instead of deleting, you'll have 15 copies of the same contact. The other problem is even more intractable, and that is if multiple people are using the same calendar at the same time, or the same contact list at the same time, and two people make a change at the same time, who wins? And that's very difficult to solve. So tell me what you do. What do you, is it an Outlook calendar? What kind of calendar do you use?
Outlook, and then most of the guys have in the field have Android phones. Some of them are rooted running signage and mod and nightlies and stuff. But in
my opinion, Outlook is a very poor calendar app. Primarily because it doesn't interoperate well, it doesn't play well with the rest of the world. So it sounds like you've moved to Google Calendar at least to work with the Android phones. Is that right?
Right.
So Google Calendar, and I would just eliminate Outlook. I would just use Google Calendar. One of the advantages of Google Calendar, it's web-based, so anything that can get on the web can see and modify the calendar. But also, both Apple on the desktop and on the iPhone, and obviously Android, handle Google Calendar very well. They'll synchronize, they'll do everything right. You know, Apple's address book, Apple's calendar on OS X work completely beautifully with Google. You just have to log into your Google account and it'll sync. Obviously on Android, no problem. So Windows is the exception because Windows, everybody uses Outlook. And it's frustrating because Outlook just wants to live in its own little world. So my suggestion is get rid of Outlook completely.
I guess I'm just not used to using Gmail for everything coming from the corporate world. You know, everyone uses Outlook, so all the meeting makers I get come in via Outlook. And,
that's fine.
So I have to.
That's fine.
Migrate everything over to Gmail.
No, I think that if you get now, correct me if I'm wrong, chat room, because I don't actually live in a corporate world. So, but it's my understanding that if you get a appointment invitation coming from Outlook, that it will automatically be picked up by Gmail. Am I wrong? I thought it would. I think there's a standard. Well, again, if not, then the issue is Microsoft, right?
They took took away Google Sync, which used to fix everything for me.
Yeah, and Google took that away, by the way, not Microsoft. So you got to blame Google
No,
for
right. I do.
Yeah. When they took out ActiveSync, they said nobody uses it. So they still support Exchange, and apps I think still support. If you pay for Google Apps, that supports ActiveSync.
Yeah, that's what I might have to do is go to a paid version of app or Outlook or Office 365.
As far as I know, and Dr. Cocandy's telling me that it works for him too. He gets Outlook invitations in Gmail, and Google Calendar picks them up and adds them. I believe it works for me too. So Google did back down a little bit. They were going to kill CalDAV, which is an open standard, and everybody complained so virulently and vigorously. Google, in almost unprecedented, I can't remember ever Google backing down on something like that, said, all right, we'll keep CalDAV. So my suggestion is if you live in the Google universe, things will work fine. And yes, emails from Outlook with appointment schedules should be automatically imported in Google Calendar. Just look at your settings, make sure that's turned on. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. I'm sorry, I went off on Outlook. I know a lot of people use it. I just don't like it. It's just not, and unfortunately, it's become a corporate standard. So we live in that world. There are Outlook sync programs that will copy your data back and forth from Outlook to Google Calendar. The day that, now I have to say, it was a lot worse. Remember the old days when people had calendars and they had a Lotus calendar, Lotus Notes or Domino calendar. They had a Palm calendar. They had a BlackBerry calendar. They had an Outlook calendar. And remember that? There were whole companies built around the software that would sync one calendar to another. The Missing Sync, it was called, was one of them. This was a good business because it didn't work. It was hard. It was a nightmare. And you'd get duplicate, entries, and it was just a mess. Or entries would disappear, worse. So even with Outlook in the mix, we're still in a lot better days. Raging Cajun in our chat room says he uses G-Sync-It to sync with Google Calendar. I would love not to have to sync. Every time you sync, you run the risk of either losing data or adding data or of duplication. So always better to not sync. So if you can, the ideal, and everybody, we need to strive for this ideal. Now, if you hate Google, okay, do something else. I don't have an answer for you. But, people are worried about privacy and everything, so don't use Google then. I understand. But I don't have a good answer for you. If you don't hate Google or you're not so worried about Google seeing what's in your calendar, then just use Google Calendar as your one and only sole calendar. And everything you do on every other device can contact it and get the data from it and sync up with it. And once it's working, it works. It just works, and I don't know how they solved it. The first time you sync, you may have problems with data corruption and stuff. So the first time, before you do anything, back up your Outlook calendar, your Palm calendar, or whatever calendar you're using. Make a copy of your good calendar. Do the sync, then go on the Google site, calendar.google.com or contacts.google.com, or both, and clean it up. Yeah, you might have to put a couple of hours in getting everything perfect. Now, disconnect the sync because you don't want to mess this up again. Back up the Google Calendar and the Google Contacts because now you've got a good set of both, and continue living as normally. And my experience has been, once you do that, once you've spent the energy, that first sync is painful. Never sync again. Just connect your Android, your iPhone, your iPad, your desktops to the Google Calendar, the Google Contacts, and life will be good. And I haven't had problems since then. And I don't miss those bad old days. Robert, Manhattan Beach, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Robert.
Hey, Leo.
Hey.
I was bragging to Santa how easy it would install Windows 7 on his MacBook Air.
You said, I could put Windows 7 on your MacBook Air. It's easy.
Right. I said, you don't have to pay for that VMware Fusion. And he only needs it. He's a doctor, and he just needs it for one program. So I got to the point where I got the USB drive formatted with Windows 7. I got to the install screen. I installed Refit and all that. but it says that the boot camp partition is not NTFS, and I can't install Windows on it.
So the way you did this is you ran Apple's Boot Camp,
right?
And it partitioned the drives. It takes the existing Apple-only drive and gives a chunk of it to Windows, right?
20 gigabytes. I wanted to make it smaller, but it wouldn't let me, right?
Yeah, 20's plenty, and I agree. Now, what model Mac is this? This doesn't have a because there is one known problem with that Mac Fusion drive. It's not a Fusion drive, is it?
It's a MacBook Air with a. You don't have a Fusion drive, right?
No, he doesn't on an Air.
No, it's not a Fusion drive.
It's an SSD.
No. Yeah.
So you run that. Now, the next thing it says is, okay, now install Windows, right? Oh, you made you have to make a driver's disk. You did that, or a driver's USB key. Now it says install Windows. In the Windows installer, it's going to say, wait a minute, this is just an empty disk. You then go into options, and you say...
It didn't say that. It didn't say that. Once it formatted it, it automatically opened up, I went to install, and it opened up the Windows installer and then gave me a choice. Where do you want to install it? I chose Boot Camp, the one that was just formatted, the Boot Camp.
It's not formatted. That's the point. Windows has to format it. Apple doesn't format it.
Okay.
So in the Windows installer, there's the opportunity to format the disk. That's when you do it.
Okay, I didn't see that. What should I be looking for?
Look for options. I think it even says press O. It depends on the version. But you need to... The reason is Apple doesn't do NTFS. So all that Apple does with Boot Camp is partition it. That is, make the space, but it's unformatted space. Once it makes the space, it then says run the installer, and the Windows installer goes, oh, I know about NTFS. Let me install it. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat room, I believe that as you're going, it will say press O for options. You go into options, you look at that partition, and you format it, and then you can continue on. I've done it many times. Now, you do need those drivers because those Apple drivers are very important. I'll give you one other choice that you should probably know about. If it's just, he's a doctor, there's one program he has to run. There are ways to do it without installing a bunch of stuff. There's crossover for Windows, which will allow you to run one program. If the program works, then it's going to be simpler than installing Windows. The other option is to run it in virtualization. And you're right, you don't have to buy the Parallels or VMware Fusion. There's a free choice from Oracle called, OneBox? That is a VirtualBox, I'm sorry, VirtualBox. That is a free virtual machine. You install that. You don't get out of the Mac OS. You just install on the Mac OS. Run it. It'll ask for the Windows installer. You install it from the Windows installer on the USB key. And at that point, he can run his single program inside OS 10. He doesn't have to leave Mac OS 10. And if it's just one program, that's the easiest way to do it. By far. Donna, Corona, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, Donna.
Hi.
Hey.
I broke my computer.
You know, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was my fault.
No, it wasn't your fault. Computers pretty much will break at the drop of a hat. You look at them funny, they break. So don't blame yourself.
Well, now it just keeps telling me that the boot manager is missing.
Oh, you did break the computer.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, I was I had a C drive and a D drive, but my C drive was always full, so I just decided I was going to unpartition them.
Oh!
And I got it to where the D drive was unallocated space, but then I couldn't expand the C drive, and then I don't know what I did.
So it's a single physical drive that you partitioned into two logical drives? Is that what you did?
Well, when the computer came to me, it had a C drive and a D drive. And
this happens all the time. Yeah. They first, this is an older computer.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. I shall help you momentarily. There is a solution. Run away! No. There's a real solution. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I know what she did. I've done it myself. And there is no fix. There is no cure. except Judge Dredd. All right, let's look at this some more. So this is all default, but it has now, and this is one of the things I love about Android, is it went out and I logged into my account and installed all my dedicated apps. And what's interesting is it obviously found the apps that I had on my old Nexus 7, because I have many Android devices, and installed just those, which is great. Just great. Really nice job. Canine Mail and APG are my latest toys. This is the Open PGP implementation for Android, so I can encrypt my mail. And the Canine is the mail program that works with that. This is nice. Well done. And it's done doing that. So now I would, customize it appropriately. Let's first turn on Google Now, which I do rather like. Discover Google Now, all right. Before leaving for work, you'll get a map. When leaving for vacation, it'll show you your plane. Yes, I'm in. Let me try that new Google Now. Cards show up when you need them. Show sample cards. Thank you. Weather, sports, next appointment. So, weather at home, at work, current location for upcoming trips. That's good. Sports. 49ers and Giants. See how it already knows what I like. Because Google knows everything. Whoops. Never mind. Next appointment. Activity summary, birthdays, events nearby. I don't care about nearby events. Flights, Gmail cards, tickets, flights, hotels. So it goes through my Gmail, and if it sees, for instance, a boarding pass, it'll show up when I get to the airport. New albums? No, I don't really care about that. New books? Definitely don't care about that. New TV episodes? Nope. New video games? Nope. News update? Yeah. Next appointment? Yeah. Offers? Nope. Well, let's leave the offer. You never know. Photo spots nearby. That's a fun one. Places, public alerts, public transit. What do you think? I take the bus? Give me a break. Reminders, research topics. That's kind of cool. If you've been looking up stuff, like I was looking up, let's say the Roku, it will show me a card with others, related search. Sports, stocks, traffic, travel tools, currency exchange and language. I can't wait to try. When I get to Venice, it should tell me, what the euro is and all of that. TV cards and weather. I don't know what TV cards are, so I'll leave that on. All right. Yes, I'm done now. Hide those. Thank you. Swipe those off. Swipe that off. Oh, this is new, too. You can set reminders. So I can say, hey, remind me to buy milk tomorrow, and it will do that. That's kind of cool. Here's birthdays of people I have in my Google Plus circles, none of whom I know. Here's the weather. Oh, see? Now I know what my appointment is. That's cute. Cubs are beating the Giants. Don't like that. Google stock down. Apple stock up. Why? No one understands the stock market. That's why. Google Chrome. So these are research cards. These are things. Oh, no, this is delivery. Shipped. Nexus 7. Yep, got it. Whoops. And so, I could click it and track the package and stuff. This is really handy. Always use Chrome Beta. Oh, I got to sign in. Hold on. First time you use this stuff, you got to give it permission. I love this. I think Android's so sweet. Donna's on the line from Corona, California. Did something a lot of us have done. On older computers, when the drive was bigger than 2 gigabytes, in the old days, the computer couldn't see all of it. So the company would ship the drive to you, partitioned, a single drive divided into C and D. And I think some companies are still doing it, even though it doesn't make sense anymore. People seem to like that. The problem is, invariably, one drive will fill up when there's lots of room on the other. And it's annoying because I've got a 2 gigabyte hard drive. One partition's full and the other one's empty, but I can't. So, Donna, you did the obvious thing. You tried to fix it.
Yes.
Yeah, but the partition tool is a very dangerous thing. The partitioning, the way the drive is divided up, is at a low level. It's below Windows. And what you did is by changing the partitioning, the technical term is munged or mangled the boot record. So now you can't boot up, can you?
No.
It says, I don't see a boot record here. So do you have the discs that came with your computer?
Well, I have one here that I labeled repair disc. I have one that says application and one that says drivers and utilities.
All right. The repair disc might do what you need to do. Do you have data on here? I don't think you do because you probably backed up everything before you did this, right?
I have backed up and I have carbonite, so I'm not worried about the data. I just want the computer working.
Yeah. So this would be the easiest thing to do is to reinstall Windows. First of all, you're going to make one large drive. It's silly to have two drives on a single drive because of exactly this point is that how do you know ahead of time how much space you need on each of them? The companies who made the computer guessed wrong. So what you really want to do and what you're going to end up doing is I'm hoping the repair disk is a full system restore.
Well, I don't think so because I tried rebooting to the DVD drive and it wouldn't.
It wouldn't even boot.
No, it wouldn't do that.
Well, you might have to go, okay, this is also complicated. You might have to go into BIOS. When you first start up, it says press escape or delete to get into system setup. Do that and make sure that the DVD is at the top of the boot order.
Yes, it was.
It was? Oh.
Uh-huh.
So, in other words, that's not a bootable disk.
Okay.
It sounds like. If you can find somebody with a Windows disk, you could reinstall Windows. Since you don't have a Windows disk, there is one other thing you could try. I don't think this is going to work because I think by this point you actually don't have a copy of Windows on there anymore. You basically have a corrupted hard drive.
I could probably get somebody with a Windows disk.
Yeah, well, if you can get the same version of Windows that you had, you probably on the bottom of your laptop there should be a sticker that gives you a serial number for Windows, or somewhere you should have that. You can use that serial number in most cases with their computer. You could try it anyway, or you could buy Windows. It's not very expensive. What version of Windows was on there?
7.
Yeah. It frustrates me when companies don't give you a Windows install disk because you're kind of out of luck, right? What are you going to do now? What you want to do and what you could easily do, and it would take you minutes, is reinstall Windows. Put your apps on there. You got an apps disk. Restore your data from Carbonite, and now you're better off because you have all of the drive, plenty of space. Who made the laptop?
Dell.
Oh, okay. Call Dell. Say I tell them the model of the laptop. Say I need my Windows install disk, and for a nominal fee, like $20, they'll send you the disk.
Okay, so that's what I need to do is reinstall Windows.
Yeah, because I think at this point Windows is gone. Once you start messing with the partition, Windows is gone. They may tell you if you have a restore partition, there may be a way. Windows 7 is recent enough. There may be a way to reinstall Windows without a disk from the restore partition. And they may be able to tell you how to do that.
Okay, to try Dell.
Yeah, try F8 at boot when you're booting up and see if you can reinstall Windows without a disk. You might be able to. The repair disk might also get it to you, but the problem is you can't boot the repair disk at this point. So,
yeah,
if at least they'll send you a Windows 7 disk and you can reinstall. I'm getting from the chat room F11, F10, or F1, or maybe F2. Try all the F keys until you get one that says, I hear you doing it, until you get one that says, hey, would you like to repair your computer? F8, then select repair computer. Says one person. Another says F2. Just one by one go through them until you get, and you hope you will, and I think you might, if you didn't destroy the restore partition, hope you didn't, you might get the offer to repair Windows. And if you do and it works, then you're golden. Oh, I'm sorry, Donna. Next time, call me before you do this. I can keep you from getting in trouble. It's frustrating that they do that. There's no real advantage on a computer, especially a laptop with a single drive, to partitioning it into two parts. It's just inevitably you have too much room on one and too little on the other. It just never works out. 8888 Ask Leo. Jim is on the line from Mellington, Michigan. Hi, Jim. Hello. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Jim, you're next. Ivan is on the line from Brisbane, Australia. Hello, Ivan. Hello. Hello.
You lost Ivan.
Oh, who do I have? Steven is on the
Steven, hi.
You know, I don't know how to use this phone system. It's all my fault. Ivan and Jim are still there, and they will be next.
You got a great show.
Thank you, Steven. I can use a computer, but I can't use a phone. That's the problem.
Yeah, I hear you. Good station. Anyways, I've been listening for years on 640, and I learn a lot. Anyways,
The great KFI.
That would be your station.
Yes, sir.
I've been listening for, anyways, I've been a T-Mobile customer for years, and I've had a Samsung, an old school Gravity, and I keep waiting for it to break down and break down. And, you know,
Please die. Please, phone. Please die.
Okay, so I was getting my car worked and right next door is a T-Mobile store, so I went in and I had hours to look at, and I picked up the 4, and I know it's your phone, and I know you
love it,
and I practically sprung for it.
No.
But
No.
it's just a little
Wait.
large for me.
Wait.
It's a little
Just
okay.
do me a favor. I'm not allowed to talk about it. But wait.
I'm
4 days, dude.
We're talking about that phone. The phone I want to know about, they said, here's a phone that's been out for a month and a half. It's our newest Samsung. It's called the Galaxy Exhibit.
No. Don't listen to them. They're nitwits. Wait 4 days. In 4
processor, 1 gig RAM.
No, don't. I don't like it. And in fact, I think Samsung's history. I know they're now selling more phones than anybody but Apple. They are totally dominant in Android, and I am so disappointed with the Galaxy S4. It's basically a Galaxy S3 with more crap on it. Wait 4 days. That's all I can say. I'm not allowed to say any more. Wait 4 days. You will be glad. You will be glad, and everybody will have it. Everybody will be talking about it. It is going to be the Google phone to have, and it's coming August 1st. And that's all I can say, because they, unfortunately, normally I don't sign what's called non-disclosure agreements. I don't do it. I haven't signed a non-disclosure agreement in years, mostly because, well, there are 2 reasons. But mostly, reason 1 is because I can't hold my tongue, as you can see.
Leo Laporte Show, please.
Driving me crazy. Sorry. No, I turned on your mic so you could hold me back, Heather. Because you could tell I'm dying to talk about this. That's the main reason I don't do it. And I believe it inhibits my ability to do my job, because this phone, the leaks about this phone are myriad. I can't confirm them. I can't talk about it. I can say nothing, but I can say wait 4 days. Enough said. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. You will be glad. You waited 4 days. Do not buy a phone this weekend, no matter what. Even if you have no phone. Do not buy a phone this weekend. I can say that. I'm allowed to say that. That's not a break. Hi, Jeff. Hi. Are you here to excoriate me? No. What are you? Remember? Oh, I can't. Lisa made an appointment for me at 2:30. Go yell at her. What time are we? Can I, 3:30? Yeah, later this afternoon I could do it. You know, it's funny because I cut my nails this morning. If I had known, I wouldn't have cut my nails.
How about tomorrow, in between Tech Guy and Twig?
No, is 3:30 bad?
I mean, I don't know where John is.
Well, he's not here now either.
Right.
Text him. Ask him. Just wait 4 days. I don't know if I did Florida Vet, but I will look now that I know you did. My daughter has it. I know how much the phone will be, but I can't tell you. I know who will sell it, but I can't tell you. F-O, actually, wait, just wait, August 1st. August 1st. And I will also say this. Not everything you're reading is true. Some of the rumors are wrong. And a number of very significant features have not been leaked at all. Wait 4 days. I love the HTC One. I like the Galaxy S4. Wait 4 days. I know, poor Gina. I know. Well, she particularly would like this phone, unfortunately. But I love the one. The one is beautiful, but the one is weird. The one is a little strange, the buttons and everything. Can't say anything. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing?
Is it that time already?
It is that time already.
Holy Magole.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So are you away for 3 Saturdays? I keep forgetting. Oh, here we
Say
go.
again?
You away for 3 Saturdays?
Yes, I'm away. I'll give you the dates.
Like
that
9,
would probably be
17?
most useful to you. I am disappearing from the world of the living on September 17th. So I will miss the 21st, 22nd, 28th, 29th, 5th, and 6th, and I will come home on October 7th.
Okay, very good. Very good.
On British Airways flight 287. Ooh, baby. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, last segment of the show. Yeah, there's a big phone announcement on August 1st that I believe will be something you'll want to wait for. Let's put it that way. So, August 1st. In fact, if you're in the market for a new phone, even if you will not have a phone for the next 4 or 5 days, wait. Would be my suggestion. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that because the announcement's August 1st, but I don't think availability is right away. So, but I'm very excited about this phone that they're going to announce August 1st. That's all I can say. That's all I'm willing to say. Except to say this. It's time for Dick DeBartolo, Bad's maddest writer, and the Gizwiz. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how are you?
I am well.
Good. Any news on any new phones? Have you heard anything?
I know nothing. I know nothing. I just, I feel like that, I feel like I have kind of started to fall in love with what Google is up to. I got the Google Chromecast here. I got the new Nexus 7 here. And I just feel like they are on the right track in terms of usability. Now, it's hard if you're one of those people who thinks, I don't trust Google, I don't want them to have any information. You're not going to want to use a Google product. I understand. But I really think that they are currently, oddly enough, because they're not a hardware company, making the best hardware out there. Certainly the most interesting. Enough said. Yeah, enough said. Yeah. So, Mr. Dickie D, you come here every week loaded for bear.
Yeah, exactly. And there are certain gadgets like phones. There are certain gadgets that people keep reinventing, and one of them is places to plug things in. we all love gadgets, but we need places to plug them in.
Indeed.
So now you know about the pyramid, but this is the Powermid. P-O-W-R-A-M-I-D.
I'm guessing it is a pyramidic power strip.
Yes, it is. It is great. It is great if you have a conference room, round conference table where everybody wants to plug in.
Perfect.
At gizwiz.biz, if you click on Tech Guy, you can see a picture of it. It's from Excel, And the little pyramid has 6 evenly spaced 3-prong grounded outlets. That also has 2 2.1 amp charging ports.
Oh, that's good, because that means you can support even the most power-hungry devices like the iPad.
Yeah, 8 people could be charging stuff.
This is great. Every conference room should have this.
Should have one. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
A surge protector, a little on-off switch at the top. That's also a circuit breaker. A 6-foot 3-prong heavy-duty cord. A little LED to tell you that the charging port
It looks like a flying saucer, actually.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Does it got a light on the top?
On Amazon Prime, it's $22 and some cents. I think it's 22. Oh, you have it up.
I'm ordering Run right now for the conference room. This is great.
This is really perfect for that. And
it's also a surge protector. It's more than just a power strip.
Exactly. What more could you want?
One more is right.
But wait,
there's more?
No more.
No, there's no more.
I've given you all
Plugs not included.
Well, yes, plug not included.
It's funny. You wouldn't think this is a gadget, but nowadays, since you have to plug everything in, either via a plug or a USB port, this is great.
Yeah, and it's very funny. I rarely go to meetings, but every once in a while, I'll stick my head in up at DC Comics, and people are going into the conference room. The first 20 minutes are people plugging things in and trying to find an outlet because they know they're going to be there for a couple of hours and they want to be in touch. So this is a very easy way to do it. The Power Center from Excel.
Very good. Dick is at, as he mentioned, gizwiz.biz. That's his website, gizwiz.biz. Do you find that you have to explain to people that it's not gizwiz.biz.com or something like that?
You know what? It's very funny. For about a year now, World News Now has been very kind to always introduce me.
You were just on this week.
As from twit.tv.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, they do it. And last week they did it at the beginning and the end.
Thank you.
At twit.tv. But someone was new on teleprompter and they said, so you're on twit.tv.com?
No.
This doesn't look right. I said, no.
No. Yeah, the web is not just .com. There's .tv and there's even .biz and .info and .me and .name and
yes, and you know you're filling out an old form online when you type in your addresses as dick@gizwiz.biz and it says, I'm sorry, that's not a valid email address. Yeah, I know. Hello.
Oh, well. So that's it, gizwiz.biz. Dickie D, hang around. The Giz Fizz coming up right after the radio show on most of these internet stations. Meanwhile, if you don't mind, I'll continue on with the phone calls. Do you mind? No? Oh, okay. Just asking. Even if you did mind, I'd have to do it. Ivan in Ivan in Brisbane. Hi, Ivan. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Can you hear me?
I hear you great. Are you on Skype?
Yes, I'm on Skype, calling from Brisbane, Australia.
Awesome.
Thanks for taking my call.
Of course. What can I do for you?
I had an iPhone for 2 years, and backup and restore I found absolutely seamless. The last couple of years I've had Android, and I'm still searching for something that backs up and restores as good as what I was used to.
Yeah. You know, when you first install, as I was just showing with my Nexus, the new Nexus 7, when you install a new Android device, there is in the settings a checkbox that says, would you like Google to back up and restore? But you're right, it's not quite as seamless as iCloud. iCloud will actually, in a way, back up the whole phone and restore it so it's exactly the way it was. What this is doing, in fact, it's doing it right now, is it's restoring all the apps I had installed. Not all the settings, but some of the settings. It's kind of a halfway install. So there are third-party backup apps. For years, I used one called Titanium, but it required a rooted phone or rooted Android device. And that was because in order to back up everything, you had to have root access. But there is a newer app that no longer requires rooted access, and I'm just trying to remember the name. Maybe the chat room will remember. They changed their name. That's why I've forgotten.
I tried one called Backup Pro or My Backup Pro or something.
Yeah.
Which works okay, but you still seem to have to rebuild your screen when you've restored it.
Helium. Helium, H-E-L-I-U-M.
Helium.
Yeah, that's the new name. And it's from the folks at Clockwork Mod. They make the software that you use to, if you have a rooted Android device, to install third-party ROMs. The free Helium, and then there's one that's $5. It's highly recommended. This backs up everything. Really does a great job, including, yes, your desktop settings, your widgets, and so forth. There are some issues with restoring widgets that nothing can handle, but Helium is absolutely the way to do it.
Fantastic. Oh, well, I'll give that a try, and enjoy your show from Australia.
Great to know you're listening. Thank you so much, Ivan. And finally, Jim in Mellington, Michigan, finally got to you. Hi, Jim. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Good to talk to you.
Nice to
talk to you. I have a question. I was lucky enough to acquire a virus on my computer, even though I had updated virus protection program.
Yeah. No virus can protect you against yourself. That's the real problem. And once you've what a virus author needs to do is get you to execute a program. And there's two ways to do that. One is by using a flaw in the operating system or software you're running to do it without you knowing. So if you keep your operating system and your software up to date, that's not going to happen. The other is to trick you, to say, hey, did you see that video of you last night? And you go, what? And then you click the link, and it goes to what looks like YouTube, but YouTube says, no, your Flash isn't up to date. So you go, I got to see this video. What did I do last night? And you click the Flash updater, and it seems to run, but then something goes wrong. Oh, well, that happens all the time. That wasn't Flash. That wasn't YouTube. That was a virus. And no antivirus will protect you against that because it thinks you know what you're doing.
Well, that's definitely a mistake in my case.
You know, you realize that if a antivirus program said, no, you can't install software, you'd be safer, but you'd also be unhappy.
Well, I think this was related to an older version of Adobe that I was using.
Yes. So that was the first case. Adobe's Reader is horrible, and you must keep it up to date. Lots of bugs.
Well, what happened is I was blessed with exploit :W32.
Yeah, I don't need to know the name. There's nothing more to say about it, there's no way to get rid of a virus. You have to format and reinstall Windows, period.
Really?
There are people who claim that they can do this. There's software like Malwarebytes that claims that it can do it. The problem is there's no assurance that it has, and if you're still infected, it could be a silent infection that's worse than the original. Format, reinstall. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.